Anti-derivative.
Anti-derivative, Jill. Damn.
Hey, hello and welcome.
Damn.
Hello and welcome.
Hey, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 91. I'm trying something new today for the new year, which is to add some supplemental transmissions in between reviews. I don't know how often I'll do it, but for this first one, we're going to discuss how the Prime Directive affects the crew of the original series, because this is one of the major tools that the show uses to solve problems or to create problems, or just it's a really fun plot device. And so I thought it might be interesting to have open range discussion to celebrate the new year. And so if it goes well enough, my idea for this is that I might add more of these, so that even when we start reviewing other shows like For All Mankind, or if the Orville has a season 4, we'll have these shows to bring Star Trek back to Tuesdays every once in a while.
Damn dogs.
And the dogs are in the way. Hey, well, we have that. Reminds me that we have Jim's Landscape LLC today. Hello, how are you doing, Jim?
Hey, Commodore Boone, doing good, and you?
Wonderful. And Scotty R37, how was your new year?
It was great. I spent it with Commodore Boone.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, well then here we are today. And yeah, so this will be, this is more like a focused shore leave, where we could talk about anything as long as it has to do with the Prime Directive and Star Trek.
Yeah, the topic at hand.
Exactly. And I want to say hello to Matt G. He's here,
Matt
as
G.
is Franco Walker.
Franco.
Jim. Franco says, I'm listening to Sci-Fi Nation stream from last night. I don't remember being there in the chat. I was so drunk.
Poor guy.
Franco. We were like, normally our regularly scheduled program would be talking about Day of the Dove today. And I said to Jill, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because I might still be hungover from New Year's, but I was good. So I'm glad that this sort of became a stopgap. Being inebriated over the holidays is a rite of passage and a way to make merry.
Yeah, yes, that is why this episode exists. But I think it's a really cool idea going forward. And I'm glad that we stumbled upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And hello to DJ Play Nice.
DJ.
Edge of Time.
Hail.
Susan Dolan.
Susan. Oh, Susan has an interesting,
Please
Susan
read
Dolan
it.
in the chat says, did anyone see the latest Shatner tweet or X post about the crocheted or knitted starship? It must have been from Enterprise series, because Shat said the ID numbers weren't from his Enterprise. There was a winky face after that, and it was the NX-01. So I did see it. I checked it out. I saw it in the chat. Susan, welcome. I think Bill's social media team were having a laugh.
Oh yeah, and that's what Tiger Stripes is saying. That's not Shatner on Twitter.
No, but they represent his brand. And you know what? I've been I follow Shatner's Twitter team, or X-Men, and I think they do a good job, not only of saying what would be like Shatner-esque, because Shatner he was in a show called Bleep My Dad Says, and then also,
yeah, he was good in that.
He was funny. It was a short-lived funny show. Will Sasso's in there. It's great. A
funny book too.
Yeah, well, it's based on a Twitter account. Speaking of X, and but I do like the way that they protect Bill's sort of, because like fake accounts show up, and if you find a fake account for Bill, you just head over to his X and you just say, hey, here's an imposter, someone claiming to be you, and it's like, okay, and they get on it. They worker bee all over the place to make sure that nobody else is using his name.
Well, that's good. Hello to the Comic Relief Crusader.
Ahoy,
How
sir.
are you?
Yo.
And of course, Tiger Stripes.
Hey, Tiger.
Gavin Blackburn is here,
Hey,
and
Gavin.
so is Pop Culture Curator in the chat today.
Hey, Bob.
Hello.
So let's see what else. Gavin Blackburn. Hey, that's the first episode we're going to talk about. He killed Landrew because he was not protected by the Prime Directive.
Yes, which is an interpretation of the Prime Directive.
Mm.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Well, we can talk about it because
Well,
that's the first episode we have. We generally know what the Prime Directive is. Everybody knows it's the rule of non-interference in the
Well-
eternal affairs of civilizations, especially less advanced ones, so as to let them develop naturally.
well,
And
there.
Mr. Miles. Hello, Mr. Miles. I didn't mean to miss you.
Hey, Mr. Miles. Well, there is an actual draft of the Prime Directive available from a writer of the next generation. And it is from the book Federation, the first 150 years, again, by David A. Goodman. And I was wondering if you would allow me to read that directive, Section 1 of the Starfleet Charter.
Only after I say hello to Ari Bavel.
Hey,
What's
Ari.
up? C++ C Nation. C++. C++ is the name of the programming language. Plus C is the constant you add when you're solving a antiderivative. And okay, so what's the name of this book again that you're reading from?
Bookworm. It's called Federation, the first 150 years. It's a reference book written by David A. Gordon. It was published on the 4th of December, 2012.
David A. Gordon? I don't know
Yes.
why I thought you said, oh, okay.
Goodman.
Gotcha.
Goodman. Sorry.
I thought it was Goodman.
It is Goodman. I just can't read.
He got confused.
I did. I was thinking about the Orville. So,
Oh, man.
yes, David A. Goodman. And it was published on the 4th of December, 2012, 11th of October, and 2013 in the UK. It came on a swell base. It had a little base where you could put it looks like a history book, and it's sort of presented like gangsters of the 1920s in a way that it has an audio. You press a button, and there's an audio message from Captain Hikaru Sulu, voiced by George Takei. And it just welcomes you to the book and the history of it. And it's very interesting. Again, it's about the birth of the Federation, not the video game.
There's a button?
It has a button. There's a base.
There's audio. That's a cool book.
It is. You know what? And I'm an idiot because I threw away the base because I've moved many times. But I still have the book. But I wish I still had the base. It's a display piece. I probably threw away hundreds of dollars if anyone is looking in eBay and being like, oh man, Scott's stupid. Well, we've come this far. Everyone knows now. But anyway, so written in that particular tome is the Prime Directive, Section 1 of the Starfleet Charter. Starfleet crew, this is reading from the book now, Starfleet crew will obey the following with any civilization that has not achieved a commensurate level of technological and or societal development as described in Appendix 1. A, no identification of self or mission. No interference with the social, this is B, no interference with the social, cultural, or technological development of self planet. C, no reference to space, other worlds, or advanced civilizations. D, the exception of this is if said society has already been exposed to the concepts listed herein. However, in that instance, Section 2 applies. Section 2 of the Prime Directive says, if said species has achieved the commensurate level of technological and or societal development as described in Appendix 1, or has been exposed to the concepts listed in Section 1, no Starfleet crew person will engage with said society or species without first gathering extensive information on the specific traditions, laws, and cultures of that species' civilization. Then, Starfleet crew will obey the following. A, if engaged with diplomatic relations with said culture, will stay within the confines of said culture's restrictions. B, no interference with the societal development of said planet. And that is the Prime Directive.
Interesting.
Now,
that is
it
pretty
is
great.
beta canon. It is somewhat apocryphal. It comes from a novel. It is not, or a book reference material. It is not canon to the show. It was never presented on screen.
But it is derived from all of the different episodes that do express the different interpretations of the Prime Directive. Every time that we engage with it, we can add a little bit to the rule, and that's what it sounds like it did. And it just watched a lot of The Next Generation, which makes sense why it was written by David A. Goodman, who did write for it.
Not Gordon.
Not Gordon. I was wondering
Now,
who Gordon was.
There are addendums, but these come from Memory Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good old Memory Alpha.
Good old Memory
Yeah,
Alpha.
well, you got to be careful with that Memory Alpha. It likes to talk about stuff that it doesn't happen.
Well, and then I appreciate that. Instead of referring to Memory
But you
Alpha,
can.
why don't we explore it ourselves? Why don't we go into it? Because there are episodes that will come
But
up
I
in
don't
the
mind.
conversation.
I don't mind referencing it if you want to. We can talk about it.
Memory Alpha says a complicated order. The Prime Directive had 47 sub-orders by the latter part of the 24th century.
Oh, damn.
As referenced in the Voyager episode, Infinite Regress. The directive provided guidance on what constituted prohibited, quote unquote, interference with a society, covering such matters as bullet point 1. Let's see, this is Memory Alpha. Bullet
Oh,
point.
hold on. Before you read, oh my God, you're not going to read 47 bullet points, are you?
No, it's not. But... It's like a paragraph. It's a paragraph.
Okay, just checking.
I don't even like the sound of my voice that much.
Tiger Stripe says, I gotta go. Have fun. Thank you so much, Tiger Stripes.
Bye, Tiger. Take care.
She was mentioning, since you mentioned the Orville, I'll note that toward the end of his Bill Maher interview, Seth MacFarlane used the words Prime Directive and Enterprise in the same sentence. I didn't even know they had an interview. I want to see that if they talk about the Orville.
Well, if it's on Bill Maher's podcast, I'll check it out for sure. I watched the John Hamm one. You know I did.
Well, and she says, I'd like to believe that was the nod to Orville fans, but I think he's just a Star Trek super fan whose mind always runs in those circles.
Yep.
Great. Well, I hope you have a great day, Tiger Stripes.
Seth MacFarlane, Star Trek fan and big band aficionado, also an Oscar host. I like that guy.
And that's a good combination because Star Trek does tend with the orchestra kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Miles says sometimes, but it was treated with much more important post-Kirk. Yes. It was one of the reasons Janeway said his era was the cowboy days of Starfleet. Oh, no, well, okay. I was hoping somebody was going to mention flashback. Thank you, Mr. Miles.
Well, but also, don't forget, Picard accuses Spock of that in Unification, and Spock throws it back in Kirk's face and says, I've been doing this brand of cowboy diplomacy.
Right. He does that.
So it's like it comes from Spock. It does say that sometimes you need a hammer. It's not always a screwdriver.
Mm-hmm. Janeway burnt the regulations to warm up her coffee, says Franco.
Yeah. There's coffee in that Embla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Janeway was the worst
offender. I do. Okay. So, but we do have a few points you want to make before we get into what Janeway did.
Well, and these are specifically referenced from episodes. So, and we can obviously take a break anywhere in these episodes and talk about them. But the first bullet point, providing knowledge of other inhabited worlds, even if individuals or governments in the society were always aware of such, to peoples who had not started using a warp technology, coming from the original series of Bread and Circuses and TNG with First Contact and the Mintalkans, who, the ones where Lilith had sex with Riker. That's for sure.
Oh
Alrighty
yeah,
then.
that movie did have to do with the Prime Directive.
No,
Okay.
First Contact, the episode.
Oh, the episode. Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Insurrection for a second, but Insurrections has to do with the Prime Directive.
Prime
First
Directive
Contact
doesn't
the episode.
apply because the Sona and the Baku are warp capable.
That's true. They don't. It doesn't. Okay. Well, anyway, DJ Play Nice says what you were saying from Bread and Circuses. No, oh no, I'm getting a slight echo. No
No, I'm good.
identification of self or mission, no interference with the social development of said planet, and you will continue this discussion because I need to step away for a moment.
Absolutely. Or the fact that there are other worlds or more advanced civilizations. Season 2, episode 5. Yeah. And that is that McCoy states? No identification of self or mission. Yeah, that's McCoy from Bread and Circuses.
And my echo thing is Mark, so.
Sweet. Oh, and if I do, Jim, if I do mute you briefly, I just found something that happens through StreamYards. If you mute a person's microphone, then it just resets for some second. And so I only do it for like a couple of seconds. I'm not cutting you off, sir.
I understand.
Chills. Second bullet point is providing knowledge of technologies or science, which is from the original series episode or attributed through Memory Alpha to a private little war where the Klingons were arming and Kirk decided the Federation was going to arm.
Yep.
And then Voyager for Caretaker, which is like, that's a big one. I want to go back to Caretaker because Caretaker, and again, there's a lot of mention of Janeway in this. And it's interesting that there is a lot of mention of Janeway in this because did she throw it away or did she? I don't know, because we got the Equinox. I'm just asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How do you feel that Janeway dealt with Caretaker, the Caretaker?
Well, she had a chance to go back home, but she decided to stay in order to protect species on the planet.
Yes.
And she destroyed the technology, so the other people, the other guys,
the Kazon.
It's been a while since I watched that there, but
that's cool.
Yeah, that's the reason why that caretaker array was destroyed.
Yes, and considering that the caretaker was, for lack of a better term, taking care of the Ocampa
on the planet, he gave him enough power for 7 years, I think it was.
And so it is, can Starfleet interfere if there has already been prior interference?
I think so. Sometimes.
Yes. And we're speaking specifically of Caretaker with the Ocampa and the Caretaker. How do you feel that worked out for Janeway? Do you think that as Jim said, the idea that the Kazon were going to be able to take over the space station,
right?
The Ocampa already knew about the Kazon, and they're interplanetary at least. I don't know. Were the Kazon interstellar? They must have been.
They had ships, yeah, but Janeway didn't want them to have the technology because with the Caretaker's technology will really push them ahead a long ways.
Well, and not only that, but also the Kazon through most of the first season of Voyager, everyone hates the Kazon. Everyone, all they want is replicators. Like, they're more aggressive, intelligent. They just want to be able to make water, as established in the first episode. And then after that, they want weapons and they want faster ships and whatever. And but
of course, and giving them technology is not an option. It's not even a matter of whatever regulations. It's just ridiculous that they think that that's something that they deserve. They're really entitled. But
they're pirates.
That's true. They're space pirates. Exactly what Gene wanted to avoid. And we see why, because they're pretty terrible They're pretty terrible, just in general as a antagonist. But as far as the Prime Directive goes, since the caretaker already ruined the normal growth of the Ocampa, interference by Voyager, I think, is not a violation of the Prime Directive. But what was Janeway's mistake in that episode was presuming that she couldn't go home and also destroy the caretaker at the same time. But if she had done that, we wouldn't have had the entire series.
The entire series, exactly. And they're home.
Yep.
What a voyage. No, but it's very interesting. And I think that, like, even from and that is an interpretation of the Prime Directive. Like, if she were to follow the Prime Directive to the letter of the law, the natural development of the species in the Delta Quadrant, like being in the Delta Quadrant, is a violation of the Prime Directive, even though it was put upon the Voyager. And so your first instinct as a Starfleet captain, you can't think about what the rest of the quadrant is going to develop as. You have to, okay, it's almost like it's a sound of thunder. It's that butterfly effect. If she were adhering to the Prime Directive, she would have gone straight home.
If she had the way to get home, remember they're 70,000 light years away, and they have no technology to get them back home that fast. It's going to take a long time to get back home, and also to be in the Delta Quadrant, the Federation hasn't got there yet. So there was no Federation established in that quadrant.
So no law, no rules.
Basically, the captain has to look at the Prime Directive and weigh the odds and act on it. That's what Janeway did. Think about it.
The fact that Janeway follows any rules at all is a testament to her dedication. Even if she does break the rules all of the time, she is out there all by herself.
Right.
For sure.
Having to survive. Gavin Blackburn says yet later on Janeway would make a deal with the Borg that would doom billions of people across multiple systems to shave time off their trip home. And yeah, so the deal with the Borg. So that was the end of season 3, wasn't that?
Well, and then I suppose, all right, we're presupposing that it's very complicated when we're talking about spacefaring species, is because if they know about interstellar travel and they know about other aliens, then is it a violation of the Prime Directive? There have been a couple of times, not a couple, many, where Janeway gets sort of rustled into a situation. But there's also the worries and being overpowered. Like, what is that one episode where the Voyager crew get like all captured and their brains get wiped and they're all just menial laborers on a space station or something? If I'm just babbling, please cut me off.
No.
It's an interesting. I want to start with planets that
workforce. Mr. Miles remembers it for you. The workforce.
Thank you, Mr. Miles, with the win. Oh, Miles. So, but I want to start with planets that have absolutely no idea what's going on, because typically we talk about TOS, and a lot of the application of the Prime Directive in TOS, people say that Kirk is a menace to the violations of the Prime Directive, as referenced with his deciding that a stagnant civilization is not applicable. No, a stagnant society does not fall under the regulation of the Prime Directive because they've been impeded to developing naturally.
Yes, that's the first time we ever hear about the Prime Directive is in Return of the Archons, the moment that Spock was sure that Landru was a machine controlling the people, and so Kirk concludes that Landru must die, and Spock says, "Captain, our Prime Directive of non-interference," whereas Kirk's response is that refers to a living, growing culture. Do you think this is one?
Which Landrew was a computer, a machine, controlling everybody.
Yeah, using mind control to create peace and order. And Kirk realizes that the people's individuality and freedom has been suppressed by this echo of what a dictator created.
Long ago.
which is a societal development. Like, obviously,
Gavin Blackburn says Kirk invalidated Landry's warranty.
Oh, jeez.
And this is where the Prime Directive gets iffy, because when you talk about the development of a society, if that dictator has subjugated the planet to die, like, just they are going to be wiped out based on what this planet believes to be an ideal society, influencing that society is a violation of the Prime Directive. And so destroying Landrew, while morally against the idea of communism, because let's not forget that episode was made in 1966, is like, what if they were destined to die out? There's a lovely conversation, Jill, you sent me from having this conversation between Picard, Riker, Troy, Pulaski, and Data, and Worf. Worf gets to talk about the Prime Directive, which is amazing. But it's like, at what point do you intercede? And at what point do you step back? And so with the original series, because it is such a frontier, the final one, then, like, can we apply an altruistic interpretation of the Prime Directive? Or with Picard, do you become more stringent and more legal with the Prime Directive?
Yeah, sometimes Picard seems a little rigid on his adherence to it, just because it's a rule, not realizing that it's there as a marker for what you can do. But a good captain knows what she should do.
And it is that, hey, what is the episode with the I forget the name of the species, but the ones who are all high on Felicium.
Oh, that
Symbiosis.
Yeah, Symbiosis. That's another one. That's a very good one.
But that's those people are capable of interplanetary travel. The Prime Directive doesn't apply to them. I don't know if it's the Brainiac, not the Brainiac, Breccians.
Breccians. Yeah, Breccians.
Are they both Breccians, or they're two different species?
Well, there's two different species on two different worlds. One is the one species just makes the drug and keeps the other ones
happy.
Happy.
Dependent?
Dependent, yeah, but for some reason at the same time they're drunk and high or whatever, they're stoned, but they're creating all the food and the shelter and clothes
and they didn't have the knowledge enough to repair their own ship.
Agreed. But that's because they were stoned.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. No.
They can make clothes but not ships. Okay.
Weird, huh?
Oh, come on. Weird. I know potheads who make it, who can work a loom.
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird dual society there, because there's one species is taking advantage of the other one, and I don't think the Prime Directive should apply here. I think Picard is wrong in this one.
In Symbiosis?
Because
Well, again, as mentioned in Article 2, in like the subsection of the Prime Directive, if they're aware and they're not Federation citizens, like they're not part of the Federation, they're just a strange new world.
Yes.
And at which point you have no moral obligation or mission directive to assist these people out of their conundrum. Not the episode. but just in terms, they are in a quagmire of self-destruction, and until they work that out, diplomatic policy will not be extended.
Yep.
Well, why not though? Because
Oh, well, do you want to be a babysitter to the
Beverly
galaxy?
Crust, no, not necessarily, but the problem was all they had to do was say, "Hey, you guys, you're not dying. You're going through this withdrawal. You're not gonna die." And instead, they're just going to, I don't know, they're gonna panic because they think they are dying, and they're gonna kill themselves, or they're gonna do something crazy.
Oh,
I don't know.
but that's the nature of the species. That's what the Breckians are going to do if they can't get any more PBR. They're just going to murder each other.
I don't think it's I don't think it's a problem to tell them the truth of how they're being manipulated and being abused.
But this is also in terms of medical reference. Isn't that what Phlox deals with? When we first have the quote from Archer where he's like, well, we don't know what our responsibility is out here, and until someday someone drafts that ... directive.
Yeah, I do love how Enterprise does that. They know the future, but they can't let on that they know it.
Yeah, but that's what makes it adorable. I got so mad at it the first time I watched it, and I was like, there's not enough Star Trek in here. And it was Scott Bakula standing there at the end of every episode, and it's like, that's why you have to keep watching. There will be more Star Trek.
It shows how the Federation was formed and what they had to do in order to be out there.
Well, and it wasn't just, and I don't mean any ill will. Again, everyone should subscribe to Pop Culture Curator and his ongoing review of Lost in Space. But that's why I kind of prefer, like, I like Enterprise and going out and then realizing, oh, we actually have responsibility. It's not just adventure of the week. It is more dramatic than that. No,
Yeah.
And that's why, like, even with Enterprise, as it lays the breadcrumbs of what will become, I'm happy on that journey.
Well, Picard knows that even well-intentioned interference can cause issues, but I don't know. I like that episode, and then it makes me mad too, because they withhold the coils, so the drug addiction's going to stop. This whole thing is going to end.
Yep.
But they know that they're going to suffer though, so why not give them the withdrawal medicine?
They're going to throw up. Someone's going to rub some like damp cloths on their foreheads. They're going to be fine as long as they're cut off from their dealer. It's almost like an intervention without saying this is an intervention.
All right.
That's my opinion of symbiosis.
Gavin Blackburn agrees with you. Yeah, Scotty, the Federation ain't no charity.
Well, again, it goes back to the Kazons. What are we doing? Just giving away replicators for free? We can replicate them. They are free.
Well, yeah, they are free as long as you don't pay attention to the part where Voyager thinks that they're always running out of gas.
Or torpedoes.
Or shuttlecraft.
Or babies for Paris.
Oh yeah. That's not the only baby.
Yeah, he had 2 babies with 2 crew members of the Voyager. He got Janeway pregnant too.
Yeah, he had super evolved lizard babies.
Yeah, they were super evolved. Keep telling yourself that, Paris. Anyway, sorry.
Well, yeah, speaking of interference with the freaking galaxy, just have super evolved babies and leave them on the planet.
Well,
Mr. Miles says, did a piece of the action violate the Prime Directive? It's a gray area. Well, it had already been violated before it even existed.
Yep.
Because the Horizon ship came and messed things up.
They left the book, and that's what messed up the whole society.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, again, upon second contact, I hate to say it that way, but like the Enterprise shows up and they're aware, like the Iosians are aware of interstellar creatures, people who can come visit. And it's like, well, you guys have you've been a while. What's going on?
Yeah, the Prime Directive is really important until the culture is already contaminated. If it's already contaminated, then all right. Well, yeah, sure, we're aliens.
Well, and that's why. What is it? Oh, come on. What's the German episode?
Patterns of force.
Right. Now, the person who's responsible for that violation of the Prime Directive is John Gill.
Yep,
Like,
John
he's the
Gill.
guy who screwed that up.
Oh man, this is a good discussion, but I got to be right back.
Well, and Patterns of Force. Do you like it, Jim?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, just like Kirk said to Gill, why Nazi Germany? And he said because certain lessons in there is taught into it, something like that.
Well, it's something about like in industrialized rebuilding, because there was something bad that happened, and Gill was a historical observer, and he applied it, but he figured if you took away all the prejudices and warfare, then it would be a good system. I wouldn't I wouldn't take that away, but that's the premise for the episode. But at that point, he was the one who violated, because that neither, like, what are they? The Zions. It's Zion,
Yes.
and someone else. But they had no idea about otherworldly people.
Right.
And
you already moved to Omega Glory.
Oh, no. We're still talking about Patterns of Force. I was just asking Jim's opinion, and then decided to talk all over it.
Oh, my fault.
Oh, Mr. Miles says, but they still majorly interfered, like directly manipulated their government.
Okay, guys, and I hate to be a stickler, but because I think we're going to be like bouncing around like a pinball on this conversation, if you could do a favor for my limited goldfish brain and do some sort of reference to the episode in which you are discussing, I would be ever so grateful.
This one's from the Piece of the Action, I think, because that was his
original?
His initial.
Never mind. Don't give me crib notes. I'm an idiot.
No, that's fine.
Thank you. Did Piece of the Action violate the Prime Directive? I don't think so.
Nope. Prime Directive was already violated
before it even existed.
Exactly.
Thank you, Jill. Miles was asking you. I just decided again, just chirp.
Yeah, chirp, that's how that happened, because of the book.
Now there are more provisos.
Oh, come on, doggies, quit barking. Dang.
There is the third bullet point from Memory Alpha, written by whoever wrote it. Says taking actions to generally affect a society's overall development, in reference to the original series episode Patterns of Force and TNG. Here we go with the Mintakans, Who Watches the Watchers.
All right. Yes.
Which is interesting. Patterns of Force. I kind of like McCoy was the one who went to was McCoy the one who went to Patterns of Force, or was I think McCoy went to the planet from Patterns of Force.
Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Oh no. Patterns of Force was the one with the Mugatu.
No, Patterns of Force is the German one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that Patterns of Force? Okay, sorry. What was I thinking of?
We don't know.
The Mugatu is Friday's Child?
No, because it's got Tyree and the the lady with the Private Little War. That's what I was thinking.
Private Little War, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, see? Pinball.
Well, let's go there then.
Hey, Matt Arnold, what's up?
Matt Arnold. Hello, sir. Thank you for a lovely New Year's.
Okay,
He had fun too
so
because he was sick there for a while.
Well, good.
okay, so I think in A Private Little War, only one person knows about aliens and that they've been because they've already been contaminated by
The Klingons.
the Klingons. Yes.
And so, well, and that's interesting because in A Private Little War, Kirk knows Tyree, and it's Tyree's wife who decides to imprint herself upon Kirk with the healing from the Mugatu.
Correct.
And so I don't know if Tyree knows about like Starfleet or anything. They're dressed up, like they're in societal costuming.
It was about the fire sticks.
It was all about fire sticks, but that's introduced by the Klingons. So there is an influence of technology there, but only commiserate with what has been provided by an interceding power. And it goes on for bloody year after bloody year. Hey, Boomer's here. Hooray.
Boom, boom.
Hello to the Phantom Boomer Explorers and also to Matt, who was here too. And yeah, basically. Oh. And then Nona goes crazy with the phasers, and that's fun.
Yeah, she does. But Friday's Child, they obviously they know all about what's going on in space.
Oh yeah.
The Federation is not, they're interested in collecting information. But is that another one where the Klingons sort of let everybody know? That seems to be one of the things in the TOS, is that whenever we encounter a technologically disadvantaged or less than informed species, it's usually that, as indicated in the Prime Directive, you can go there if you're collecting information, as long as everybody knows that you're, you be societal. You go undercover and just be a part of the Mintakans or whoever. The Iosians. Actually, the Iosians, no. They just beam down in Starfleet uniforms. They don't even try to hide themselves. But
that's why I like the idea where they almost wanted to make an episode later on where they would go back to the planet, but they're all imitating Starfleet instead of they've evolved from imitating the gangster world.
Right.
But they never got around to doing that.
Well, I think it would have been too meta.
It would have been.
Like, that would have been the first episode of.
And anyway, we got a better, well, I was going to say we got a better idea of that with Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, absolutely. True story. Oh, those poor people. We do have clips. I don't know why I'm not pressing buttons.
Yeah, we have that exact clip.
Let's see. Who did it better?
Well, the reason why they said those poor people, because they was talking about Gilligan's Island at the time.
Those poor people.
Yep.
Yes, because they thought every TV show they saw was reality.
The historical documents.
Yep.
But that was, Jill, it's interesting that you bring that up. It's that was the original, that was going to be the Trials and Tribulations episode, and they decided, nah.
Yeah, I'm glad they did. That's a good choice.
It was a very good choice. May I excuse myself momentarily, Captain?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
So another episode that this happened in was in the Apple. This one was very similar to previous episodes, where this one, it was also a computer that was kind of controlling things, controlling the society. And so Kirk has a similar conversation as he does in Return of the Archons, that these people aren't living, they're existing. They don't create, they don't produce, they don't even think. They exist to service a machine. And so there's another one. And Mr. Miles says, curious what the panel thinks. What takes priority to a captain? The Prime Directive or the crew's safety? And that one actually plays into the
That
Taste
would
of
be
Armageddon.
that'd be the crew safety.
Yeah,
Top
exactly.
priority is the crew and the ship, then the Prime Directive.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of Taste of Armageddon is that sure, maybe they would allow that society to continue, except for that they threaten the entire ship and sentence them to death. That can't
Correct.
be.
Yep. If they didn't include the Enterprise, then they probably just let them do what they wanted to do. But since the Enterprise was included in their little war, Kirk says, "Okay, we got to get this changed here." So that's what he did. Everybody go mute.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, I got my starship here, with a soft separation here,
Oh yeah. Whoa. Oh, you did do that.
Oh.
Apparently, they wanted that to happen in the original series, but it just never really manifested.
Didn't have
That's
the
pretty
funds. Didn't have the funds at the time.
Yeah, and so of course, when we finally got to TNG, that's the first thing they do.
TNG and the third AJ universe one on the third one, they did the soft separation as well when the ship was being destroyed.
I like that you say it, AJ. That's perfect.
Oh, that's what I call it, the AJ universe.
So Reba Vel says in Bread and Circuses, the bad guy says that everyone in the crew has pledged their lives to the Prime Directive.
Probably so, just like the American soldiers, they'll put their lives on the line to protect the United States.
Then, of course, there's also the very strange episode Justice in The Next Generation also deals with this topic. Do you remember Justice? The one where or better known as the one where Wesley Crusher crushes flowers.
Mm-hmm. Where he was sentenced to death because he crossed the line.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, so the Ito decide to sentence Wesley to death, and he refuses.
And Captain Picard struggled with the Prime Directive, but again, they included the member of the Enterprise crew, so Picard decided to do what he had to do.
And I don't really think that the Prime Directive applies because the Ito are being controlled already by a force that is interfering in their lives, because there's like a godlike alien, isn't there? Like a TOS style godlike alien doing something with them. And so I think that this is the law of the alien god who is more advanced. So I don't think the Prime Directive applies.
Okay.
That's my justification anyway.
Yeah.
Although there is a good quote in that episode where Picard says there can be no justice so long as laws are absolute. And I think that's the major theme around this entire debate, is that the Prime Directive is not meant to be absolute.
Franco, shame on you.
What did Franco say? Let's see.
That was a disappointing episode. They could have got rid of Wesley. What was wrong with Wesley?
No, really? I agree completely. We're on the same page. Yeah. Wesley, I think, well, they made him just, I don't know, they just really it was the Wesley problem. You shouldn't have, I don't know, he was just way, way too overpowered in terms of being able to do things that the other engineering crew cannot do. And so, and this isn't just any starship. This is the flagship of the Federation. engineers have to be the best of all of them. And Wesley's just like, I'm better than you guys. And so that's the problem with Wesley.
Well, this is an entire episode that I've been wanting to have as long as I have known Jill. We talked about Tasha Yar, but we didn't talk about Wesley yet because Jill doesn't want to talk for that long about young Wesley.
There's a lot to talk about, so we should have that. Well, it's going to be a supplemental then eventually when we have another one.
Least watched episode ever.
Emma Franco.
And Susan Dolan says Wesley was an obnoxious brat.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Finity says all laws.
Finity says
all
laws are absolute. But yeah, laws are absolute. But this is a directive. This is a philosophy of space exploration.
Shut up, Wesley. Became a meme for a reason.
Yeah, well, as soon as we do our retrospective on Wesley, people are going to tell me to shut up all the time. Hey, wait, they already do. This will work out.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll just make you stronger.
But are we talking about like Angel 1? Is that why Wesley came up when he fell into a garden?
Yes, but it was called Justice.
Justice. Angel 1 was the one with the Edo and their space station god.
Yeah, Justice was about Edo. And
Justice was Angel 1. Was that the one with
Angel
the
1's the one with the ladies.
The ladies. The Riker chest hair.
The ladies rule on that planet.
Agit Time says this supplemental transmission makes me feel violated.
That's, it's going to be my new Tinder profile. I will violate your Prime Directive. Wait, no, I can't make that. That's never mind. Strike that from the record.
Alrighty then, Franco.
The Klingons had no Prime Directive. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why they ran all over the place, giving everybody guns.
Yep.
And welcome to Gorilla's Random Thoughts. I'm so happy you're here. Hello.
Hey, Gorilla.
Gorilla, did you go out and get that lottery ticket?
I'll have to go get it here soon. That'll be the third one I'll have to buy. 3 in a row.
Oh no! I'm sorry if you don't win. I might just feel a little more.
Hey, I won another 2. Yeah, I want a chance to play again.
Mm-hmm.
I shall return in a minute.
Killer. Yeah, this one's a little bit more of an open topic stream, so it's not quite as zeroed in on just one thing. So as we jump around to episodes, I might have to recalibrate every time that happens.
Well, I just want to say the Prime Directive is one of those BS laws there, because it's never consistent.
Well, it's not consistent because a captain cannot make decisions based on just one rule. He has to consider the action. It's a case by case basis. It is a good rule in general that you don't want to give. Like basically, you don't want to give a species technology that they're not ready for or that they haven't developed themselves. And so it is good in that sense. And it is most easily explained in season 3 of the Orville. And no, it's not Star Trek, but in the last episode, they close enough. But they explain how interference with this one culture completely turned it into a Fallout world in just 5 years, and it's kind of comical how quickly that happened. But it's a very clear representation of what can go wrong.
Yeah.
No, but TNG they're going to let a couple species completely die there because it'll be worse off for them if we interfere than total extinction.
Yeah.
He about threw Wolf's brother out an airlock there when he went to go save a handful of whatever that species was there.
What episode are you talking about?
I think it's season 6 with Worf's brother there. There's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that
Right.
planet that was going to get ripped apart. So he beamed
That
him
one's
up
a
into the
tough one.
holojet. But he's about ready to throw his brother out because they're violating the Prime Directive. Like, because it'd be fairly total extinction is not worse than them just interfering. But yeah,
Okay,
they have to throw the Prime Directive out because they didn't do their due diligence on a horny totalitarian government there to save Wesley. The only reason I'm mad about that is because they saved Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hang on. Before you
Okay,
get
so
moving on, I want to talk about the relocation
Homeward.
of Homeward. Like that, obvious, because Worf's brother, is it Sergey?
Oh my goodness, this was season 7. This was I like to call it the
Everybody has
season
a
where we learn about everybody's secret family
Yeah.
member.
Exactly. Geordi had a mom? Get out.
I can't believe. Well, wait.
Yeah.
Mad is being the operative word.
No, his
But
mom. Doesn't he go and rescue his mom with the virtual reality hap suit?
But it wasn't his mom.
And it
It
wasn't his
wasn't.
mom.
Yeah, it wasn't his mom.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
his mom
somebody.
died.
Yeah, his
His
mom
mom
is
did
dead.
die. Yeah, that was the episode where no one cares that Geordie's mom died.
Well, they didn't give
or
us
you
a
got
chance
Pen
to care
Pals.
about her.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, Pen
and
Pals is another one. But I think we
Pen
want to
Pals is
focus
a big one.
on Homeward for a minute. It sounds like
Yes, I do want to talk about Homeward for just one second. Gavin
Homeward
Blackburn.
World makes me a little upset. So
But
please do.
well, Homeward and Journey's End are two of those where it's like relocations are bad, and then we get Insurrection, where relocations are bad. Anyway, Gavin Blackburn in the chat says Worf's brother was Paulie from the Taxi Rank. Paulie from Paulie was Paul Sorvino, or sorry, Worf's brother was Paul Sorvino. I forget his name. It wasn't Sergey because I think that's his dad. Is it Nikolai? It's Nikolai Rozhenko. And but that was a situation where obviously the Federation had decided to deposit a cultural sort of observer, which is interesting, unless he had done it of his own volition. It's been so long since I've seen that episode. So if I'm fudging this up, I apologize. Jill, do you know if he was an official attaché of the Federation or if he was just
Worf's brother?
Yeah.
No.
What was his name again?
Nikolai.
Nikolai.
No, Sergey. One of the two.
Sergey. Oh, Sergey.
I think it's Nikolai because his dad was Sergey.
You're confusing us, Scotty.
Okay,
I know.
yeah,
There's
Nikolai,
so many
that's the name.
Rozhenkos.
No, grow a hell.
I gotta get back to lunch though, so we'll see ya.
Okay, I'll see you later. Thanks for bringing up the episodes. Talk to you.
Bye, Gorilla.
Talk to you next
Yeah,
time.
man. Thanks, Gorilla. Cheers.
What was he? He's a human cultural observer, so no, he was not part of Starfleet.
Right.
So
He
the
just
Prime Directive doesn't apply to him.
Well,
Do what he
but
wants.
as a Federation citizen, it does apply to him, and that's
does
why the drama. Well, of course, if you're a member of the Federation, like, can you just show up on a planet that is undeveloped and say, "I claim I am king. I have phasers."
No, you're right. No, that shouldn't be a thing.
And not even like conquering via phasers.
That's what it
if
is.
You just
The
show
Prime
up with like a
Directive
med
is
kit.
the Prime Directive is there to protect non-Federation citizens.
Exactly. Well, and as Captain Archer says, it will be that directive, which makes it so that we don't think that we came out into the universe, into the galaxy, to play God.
Right.
Or
And
like
until-
Futurama says, if you're doing it right, there's a God law. If you're doing it right, something like if you're doing it right, they won't even know you're there at all. Like it's like you've done nothing at all.
Mm-hmm. Which I really, and I absolutely enjoy going into the minutia of the situation, not the minutia, but the details, which are not minutia. But it is interesting to see that the philosophy of the Prime Directive is more of an assistance, more of you're doing your thing. We don't want to stop you doing your thing. We're going to take a look. Like when we talk about the episode First Contact, they are on the verge of warp drive. They're doing the warp drive. That's why Riker is there to observe, is to see how they will accept it. But the problem is that you also get those who have been influenced by interstellar beings, superior technological or evolutionarily. Then if they're involved in that, then the development of that species has already been affected. Like if you've already been visited by a superior species, and I mean that technologically, then, and they've bestowed the information upon you, then you know all the secrets. And the important part about that is, can you imagine what, well, I'm sure you can, the theological, if you've developed a theological race or species or society, that everything is about God and our planet revolves, or the entire solar system revolves around us. We have enough to be able to see into our immediate vicinity, but let's be fair, there is a deity. And then all of a sudden someone else shows up and says, oh no, we're from like way far away. Your deity, we have no idea who that is. And then all of a sudden there's societal revolt. And it's like what if, prove that there is no God, and then someone shows up and it's like, well, as far as we know, no.
Well, yeah, the Malconians are very much
Malconians, thank you.
They think that they're alone in the universe and that they are the pinnacle of evolution, and they don't want to hear that disrupted.
Yes.
And aren't they on the verge of inventing warp drive?
Yes.
Is that that's the point of the episode, right?
Yes.
And so, or did they actually create it? And that's why First Contact is happening. I don't remember if they're on the verge of it or if they actually made it.
I think they're on the verge of it, and that's why Riker is there as the cultural observer.
Riker. Oh, yeah, he observes all right.
He does. All from, never mind, I can't say
it. Say it.
Well, I mean, it's in the episode.
I know, but the way I say it, it's not gonna be afternoon viewing.
It's more funnier.
Yeah.
It's a guy thing.
I don't think so. Anyway, obviously that doctor, she was into it, and so
she was Riker, into it, right?
She was more into it than Riker.
True, yep. But Riker did get out of that hospital room, so we can only imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he likes to be taken advantage of. Is one of the things I noticed when I rewatched TNG.
He's a sub, not a dom.
Sometimes I see it that way, especially Angel One. I don't know, we're mentioning that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But there we go. The infidelities of William T. Riker can be another supplemental. We'll just make a list.
Okay. The ladies were hot on that planet, says Franco Walker.
It's true.
Sub-Commander Tall says, the Pro Council says regarding Starfleet officers and the Prime Directive, I believe you all swear you die before violating it. Not sure that was true in practice, though. Yeah, that's the thing with the Prime Directive. It depends. It depends on the episode.
It depends on the situation at that time.
That's why I think the growth and development of the Prime Directive is an interesting topic.
I would like to know that.
Obviously, no Prime Directive about reading the chats.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Well, and I've had my conversations, and it's just because I'm a fan of Star Trek doesn't necessarily mean I have to adhere to the philosophies of Starfleet. So, Prime Directive, here. You've never seen a calculator before? Have it.
Orville is more Star Trek than Discovery, of course. Yes, it counts.
Well,
it definitely counts in terms of the discussions because they have a lot of Star Trek discussions, even season 3.
Can you go back to?
Oh yeah, sure.
I undid it. That's the one. Mr. Miles says, shame Enterprise won't be involved in this. In here, there was no Prime Directive, even though They even acted as if there was one. Well,
Mhm.
and the direct quote from that episode, Dear Doctor, season, the year was 2151. I'm obviously going through Memory Alpha again. Jonathan Archer says, someday my people are going to come up with some sort of a doctrine, something that tells us what we can and can't do out here, should
Correct.
and shouldn't do. But until somebody tells me that they've drafted that directive, I'm going to have to remind myself every day that we didn't come out here to play God.
Yep.
And I think that is, it's not a measure of the Federation or Starfleet telling Jonathan Archer. It's the collaboration between Dr. Phlox and Jonathan Archer that what are we doing? Are we just going to go run through the galaxy and save people, give them medicines, give them technology, and hope that they can achieve what we achieved independently as humans? At that point, it is a cultural exchange, and it is Phlox that has to influence that, and it is
Mhm.
T'Pol who influences that. We've seen that in episodes of the episode Carbon Creek, where
Mhm.
there is the team of Vulcans that end up on Earth. They
Yep.
invent Velcro, but we'll let
Oh,
it
yeah.
slide.
That was neat.
It was cool.
Yep.
And it's like, though it is a doctrine that was influenced by the Vulcans.
Oh, that's a good point, Scotty. I forgot about that. The fact that this whole thing from Enterprise kind of generates from how the Vulcans interact with humanity when they first find out that humans have warp drive, and they initiate the first contact. But I don't know, do they have a Prime Directive? Because they essentially become paternal to Earth pretty quickly. So I don't think
no, I don't think they have a directive. I think that it's only logical. Like, in terms of the calculus of the situation, why would we interact with people who would never interact with us?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Everything the Vulcans do is logic.
Yeah, except for
Everything.
never mind. I was given a Prime Directive today, and I'm not allowed to bring up the film, so I won't, because it is Tuesday. It's not Friday.
Right, it is Tuesday. I mean, if you have an example that you really want to say, but I really don't see how it'd be relevant.
Say it.
It's the bastardization of Vulcan philosophy in the first episode of Discovery.
Oh
Is
God!
when,
See, I regretted
like,
this.
no. I'll be brief. But like, the Vulcan hello says that, like, the philosophy behind the Vulcan hello that Michael Burnham brings up says that if you encounter a hostile species, be hostile to them. And that doesn't, is that logical?
No.
Not really.
Like, I would have figured you either.
No, that's kind of like what an internet troll would do.
Well, I am one of those sometimes. And I suppose I do that sometimes. It's not logical.
Franco Walker says that'll teach you. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not logical, and so
It's fine. I'm done
that
with it.
show doesn't make that show makes Vulcans illogical, and it's just not good.
No, I understand. Gavin Blackburn in the chat says, in the episode Pen Pals, TNG season edited 2, Data talked to a girl over subspace, and her planet is breaking up. They beam the girl to the Enterprise and save the planet.
Yeah, and afterwards they wipe her memory, so Pulaski somehow is capable of doing that without hurting her brain.
Which is referenced again in the Mintalkin episode. In Who Watches the Watchers? How do you guys feel? And yeah, no, absolutely. It is an interesting round table discussion, Gavin, in in Pen Pals, where it is most of the senior staff. I guess we don't need Geordi. Actually, Geordi is there.
Yep.
It is one of the best conversations about the Prime Directive that involves
is.
every member of the senior staff.
Sure does.
It's great. And it is also, as Dr. Pulaski voices, it's the same as Chief Medical Officer and Bev. They share the same idea: do no harm, save a life.
Yeah,
That is their philosophy.
they both in different episodes argue against some of the tenets of the Prime Directive. Mr. Miles says, is the Prime Directive a Starfleet rule or a Federation rule? It is a Starfleet rule.
But I think that it is all. Starfleet is an arm of the Federation.
I'll be right back.
And disagree, please. I invite it. But Starfleet is an extension of the Federation. They are sort of the hall monitors. I don't want to say police. We can get into a whole conversation about the military nature of Starfleet. I prefer to think of them as a defensive exploratory organization. However, there is, Star Trek 6 and the latter half of Deep Space Nine to tell me I'm stupid. But like, I think that the Prime Directive is a Federation cooperation where the Tellarites, the Andorians, the Vulcans, I think that we've all come to the conclusion, let's not stir up hornets' nests.
Correct. But they can, as sort of like the police, trying to keep order in a galaxy with the other members of the Federation as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a philosophical conundrum.
It is.
Like, how quickly, like, it reminds me of Star Trek 2. By the way, I don't want to take wind out of sails, but apparently on the next Plummy Tea Time, we're going to be talking about Star Trek 2, the Wrath of Khan. That's the one. But I look at the microbes on SETI Alpha 5 as, okay, well, is it something we can transplant? Because if it is something that will evolve eventually, is that something that is protected under the Prime Directive? Because if you do a biological scan of a planet and you find out that there are microbes or water or like any of those developmental building blocks for future alien races in millions of years that the Federation would never encounter because of, the cyclical nature of the galaxy, like, do you stay away from planets that are just filled with primordial goo?
All depends on the situation, I would guess.
I guess distance from the closest star.
I mean, Data's the one that found out that there's life in the water.
I don't know. I think that they kind of bend the rules if the life forms are not sentient, so there is a bit of discrimination there where we can explore if nobody's just hanging around who knows of the universe.
If the universal translator doesn't work, then we can build log cabins. It's fine.
Oh yeah, and that's the problem in home soil.
Yeah.
And
that
was a problem there.
I haven't seen Home Soil in forever, but I do appreciate that it has General Gogol from the James Bond movies in it. It makes me happy. Jill, I did say that we were doing Con on the next Plomik.
Oh yeah, on Friday. Yes. So yeah, after today, I'm gonna start watching that and getting into that. I can't wait. And then after that, I will have done almost all of the TOS movies except for 3, which I did with Mr. Brown Alliance, but I haven't done it here yet.
Oh, and by the way, subscribe to Mr. Brown's Alliance.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's
Don't forget
a great
to like,
friend.
subscribe, share, tell your mom.
Oh no. Oh goodness. I'll be
Don't forget to tell Dad too.
I'll be right back.
Dad deserves to know. It's a great conversation about Star Trek 3. And a great channel.
And the kids and the dogs.
Well, Jim, what is your
well, here we
go to Prime Directive episode?
Really don't really have any. I mean, I watched every episode that Star Trek had out there, the movies and everything, and some I haven't watched for a while, and basically been watching the TOS doing my fan films, but I do kind of bounce back and forth to other shows and that, and don't really have that much about the Prime Directive. For whatever the episode is, that's what I watch and that's what I go by.
But there isn't one where there is an adherence to the Prime Directive that you admire? Is there one that you sort of rebuke?
I guess not at this time.
All right. Gavin Blackburn in the chat says, why I bring it up. It's probably the best discussion in a series about Prime Directive. It is. Well, no, Pen Pals is incredible.
Yeah, Pen Pals is a great episode where Data has essentially he's talking to this little girl who just happens to have a radio that can pick up Starfleet transmissions and send them out, and it is because of that radio that she's able to earn Picard's Picard violating it in order to save the planet.
Well, and she doesn't have the ability to receive. She's only transmitting.
Oh, okay. She can only transmit, not receive. Okay, I forgot that.
And she's saying essentially, help. Is anyone out there? Help. Is anyone out there? And Data picks it up because what does he do most of the time? He's scanning. And he finds it, and then he responds. And then they develop a communication. And then Picard is like, you did what? And so it does come down to we have found out that this planet is going to geologically explode. It's going to Krypton all over this sector. And but Data's presence has been revealed. And it's not the Enterprise, it's not the Federation, it's not Starfleet, it's Data. And they have a whole roundtable conversation. And yeah, Gavin, totally. This is the best courtroom drama. And it's just between the people who are trying to do their jobs best. And
I can understand when they don't want to violate the Prime Directive when it's a war or something that the society's going through culturally. But in this instance, it's not that. It's a geological disaster. It's Mother Nature. And so I don't see the problem. I don't see why it was such a dilemma to help.
Because if it weren't for, again, it's been a while since I've seen the episode, but if Data got the transmission before responding, he should have reported.
He should have, but he didn't. He kind of kept it to himself.
Well, there was no reason to. There was no reason to until it became it. Ultimately, Pen Pals is a development of Data's empathy. It's him growing as a sentient being and learning emotion, even though he is incapable of it, quote unquote.
He likes to reach out. He likes to learn. His curiosity is strong, and that's why I love Data.
Well, and also he's fully functional.
It's
like a distant third.
Not a downfall.
Not a downfall. But no, and the thing is that they do have that conversation, and then they say, well, if I guess Data did violate the Prime Directive by interacting with Sarjenka.
Yeah, at first he was just, like you said, he was just scanning. So he just picked her up on accident. But then he continued the dialogue. And that's probably the point where he should have mentioned something.
Yeah, he had to report. And then...
I get it that, Starfleet can't go around saving everyone all of the time. But sometimes if they just happen across the planet like this, they happen to pick up the transmission and somebody's in trouble, I don't see the problem.
Well, and through the process of, well, not the process, but through the story itself, they do grapple with the idea of the Prime Directive, and then ultimately it does become a question as to, well, if the understanding of extraterrestrial life is something that is happening, what if they were to ask for help, which is Data's solution? Because, well, he's stacking the deck in his favor.
Mm-hmm.
And and it happens just in time.
Well, yeah, it does. And you know what? I'm really happy at the fact that Data doesn't manipulate her into asking.
She does that of her own accord.
Yes. At which point, although first contact, like Data did make first contact. That is a first contact situation.
It is.
He did, because that species wasn't aware of life outside of their outside of their sphere. And so by learning about Data, that does throw off her perception.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a malfeasance, and it should be on his record.
Yeah, they do that to they do that to Worf all the time. So you're right. They should have done that.
Or, you know what? Again, I want to watch Pen Pals. You sent me that clip, and I was like, oh my God, I got to go through some Pulaski episodes.
Yeah, Pulaski's pretty cool in that one.
Pulaski's pretty, like, I like Pulaski.
I think she's okay. I think they just it's the same problem with Picard. Picard is a subset of some of the good values of Kirk, but not all of them. And then Pulaski is a subset of some of McCoy's personality, but not all of it. So that's TNG. But I guess I gotta be right back again.
For sure.
Sorry.
And there is something else I wanted to say about Pen Pals, is that the absolutist of the Prime Directive in that episode is Worf. At least in that scene, Worf is the one. It's like, the Prime Directive is not open to interpretation. We cannot. And then Pulaski goes off and says, well, it's important. It's important that this little girl who's going to die on a planet that's going to go all Krypton, I'm paraphrasing, and Worf says it's important to Data. Aside from that, let's let these millions of people die because we have the Prime Directive. We can't interfere. Like, it's our job to not. It's incredible.
They're also not a warp society as well. That's why Data got in trouble, because they're lower species.
Well, they're not as technologically advanced.
Exactly. That's where I was trying to find. Thanks.
Oh, cheers.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the point of the Prime Directive if something's going to destroy the entire planet anyway? Like, the whole point of it is to protect the world from contamination, but isn't annihilation a little worse than some contamination?
Oh, just a taste of Armageddon.
Well, if the little girl didn't reach out for help, they would never known about her in the first place.
Agreed.
Yep.
Well, and then therein lies the conversation or discussion of what is the responsibility of Starfleet to find out about a dying world.
Yeah.
As does the Prime Directive say, let them die?
Don't know.
Well,
I don't think so.
That's
Jill.
And that's why it's such a fun topic, because it's so undefined and inconsistent, and it's fun to. Oh no, my headphones are dying.
Uh-oh.
Do you have any AAA batteries?
No.
I'll send
I'm
some.
gonna have to
Plug it in the solar power.
I'll figure it out in a minute. Hold on.
All right. Oh. Mr. Miles in the chat says Starfleet absolutely is a military organization. Its structure is based on the U.S. Navy. Its structure is based on the U.S. Navy, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a military organization.
No.
I'm naive. It's an exploratory defensive organization.
Correct. You got it. They're out there to explore. They're not a military organization at all. They're there to explore, but they got weapons on the ship to protect them.
But this is also something that Deep Space Nine fans, and I have no facts to back this up, but like, is the Prime Directive just like flat out suspended during wartime when the Federation happens to be defending the entire Alpha Quadrant alongside the Klingons and the Romulans? And like just interfering with societies all over the place. We found dilithium on this one planet. And we relocated their indigenous population. Like, that seems to be the implication of Star Trek Nemesis. Or not Nemesis. Fuck Nemesis. Pardon the swear. Insurrection. Star Trek Insurrection is that they have a natural resource that we can take, we can harvest, but it'll make the planet uninhabitable. If these guys are so dumb that they don't know where they are, we can move them to a different planet. And we can just harvest their chronoton rings or whatever it is. I haven't seen Insurrection in a while.
It's in the rings. That's what keeps everybody young. But if they take that away, then the natural order on a planet will die naturally.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the other one, since they had to pull their skins and everything to make them look more uglier, they wanted that technology. Well, go down to the planet and stay down there and don't worry about taking the rings in the first place. That's my saying.
Well, one of the things that I was curious about is the biosphere that Cisco destroyed in the demilitarized zone or wherever Eddington was hiding with his
I
his
hate
Maquis.
that. I hate when
I love it. I love it.
I know you love it. I don't like it.
Jill, what did I send you for Christmas?
He sent me Captain Cisco.
Yeah, so I'm on his side.
I'm on his side a lot of the time, but not all of the time.
But I'm just saying, the natural biosphere that occurred where humans would, it's a Class M planet or moon or whatever. And the thing is that as soon as you destroy that biosphere, you have eliminated the possibility of evolution forever.
Right.
Exactly. And it's completely destroyed that planet.
Not only is it a war crime, but it's also a violation of the Prime Directive for like, you cannot, like, this is something that I find happens more in Berman Trek or say the Silver Age. TOS is the Golden Age. I'll include TAS. Silver Age of Star Trek would be Next Generation to Enterprise. And in the Silver Age, even in Star Trek 2, they're like, we cannot stop a planet from developing its own biological organisms. And in Next Generation and moving forward from there, they're like, if it ain't here now, we don't care. And I find that hilarious. There is a supremacy of the Federation, but that's also a discussion as to the Golden and Silver Age or of the development of the Federation, when the Federation thought it could do no wrong because it hadn't done wrong and it had never been defeated for 100 years following. Like, the Federation is the greatest superpower in 2 quadrants of the galaxy. As far as they're concerned, the Romulans are isolationists, and the Klingons, after the destruction of Praxis and the Khitomer Accords, they're practically allies. At least they're on good terms.
Mm-hmm. About time.
Well, and then it isn't until Q introduces the Borg, like a violation of the Prime Directive. Q introducing.
Yeah. But I don't know if the Continuum have their own Prime Directive, except to say they have something. Yeah, they have some kind of rule. They kind of don't want Q to be doing what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, same with Quinn. Come on, how many thousands
But
of years? It was
it's
Quinn.
never really been defined what the rules are, because they kind of just they're that's how aloof they are with mortals.
Bird of Prey 5.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Hey, Bird, what's up?
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5. Kapla, and I'm sorry. Did I hear you besmirching the name of the great Captain Sisko?
Uh-oh.
No, I wasn't.
Because it kind of sounded like you might have accused him of being against the Prime Directive.
Well, it was a question that I had because I was curious if.
Well, answer the question. All right, there was nothing against the Prime Directive
But is the
by irradiating that atmosphere.
I don't know. He kind
Okay.
of makes a unilateral decision to poison an entire planet.
Yeah, but it
Starfleet.
was a planet that wasn't covered by the Prime Directive. The population was Federation citizens, and they were all warp capable. The planet has no rights. The planet itself does not have rights. The civilization has the rights.
Correct.
Okay, once that planet was taken over by either Cardassian and or Federation citizens, its natural right to exist is done. It's already been forever changed. It was never going to be able to.
The Maquis ruined the fun for everybody, apparently.
Well, it was never going to be able to develop however it would have developed had nobody lived there. So, no, and also, had there been no, no humanoid civilization there to begin with, there also really wouldn't have been a Prime Directive.
Well, Bird, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
So do you feel that, well, and I think that, do you feel that it is a civilization and societal directive as opposed to an ecological and like biosphere?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay. Follow up. Why is Carol in Star Trek II so upset about there better not even be a microbe or the show is off?
Because they don't give a shit about the Prime Directive. They're scientists. They're doing something that's going to literally recreate life from nothingness. And if there is life already on the planet in any way, shape, or form, then that will destroy their scientific integrity.
Yep.
The entire point is that Genesis can create life from lifelessness. It's much easier to create life from where life already exists.
Agreed. Okay. I just had to ask.
And frankly, I think we see what happens when life was already there. It fails.
I thought that was the proto matter. We'll talk about it on.
We're going to talk about that.
We don't know 100% sure.
No, not Friday. Friday's not a proto matter conversation.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's a Star Trek 3 question, not a Star Trek 2.
Yeah, that is a Star Trek 3. Yeah, the Genesis does come up in several movies.
I must excuse myself once again. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to mention some of Miles's comments that he was making earlier regarding, what is this?
Good, Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty will be right back, I think. But there he goes. Yeah, and he has his way.
Yeah, sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button, but thank you, Bird. Thank you.
Let's see. I was trying to find where I was in the chat here, because StreamYard doesn't allow for me to search the way I would like. So Mr. Miles says Federation planets all have a certain level of development, but the children shall lead mentioned it mirroring Earth and being amazed. Oh, the planet in which the scientists are studying?
Which there was no life on the planet at that time, right?
No life except
Right.
except for that
Except for that being.
Gorgon. The Gorgon, yeah.
And the Gorgon took over the children, so the Prime Directive does not apply at that one.
Agreed. Okay.
Yep.
That
Because
solves that one.
the alien species took over the children, and that's not the natural order of the planet.
No. It's not the natural order of anything. That whole episode is unnatural.
Yep.
Dalek 451, hello.
Hey, Darlick.
And hey, hello to Disney Sheepherder. Happy New Year. Hope all is well.
Happy New Year.
And welcome to the panel, Bird of Prey 5. I'm so glad you're here.
Welcome.
Defend Cisco's honor. Mr. Miles says, Scott, the U.S. Navy explores as well. They're not all about shooting people. Yeah, no, I do think Starfleet is a type of military. I think it's a type of futuristic military that Gene Roddenberry thinks it should be like. This is Gene's vision of the military, which is different from ours a bit.
Right.
I also got to say it's easy to say it's not the military, but then 100% they fight all the wars immediately. Exactly. without any, everybody who's ever signed up for Starfleet knows that in an instant they could be called upon to give their lives and to do military stuff. So how is it not the military if they're the ones who are going to act as the military the moment the military is needed?
Exactly. It has functions of the military while also being scientific explorers. Gavin Blackburn says you don't give peaceful explorers phasers and photon torpedoes.
Only to protect themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's exactly why the peaceful explorers must have photon torpedoes.
I got bigger guns than you, so you better shut up.
Well, they're peaceful until you decide to make them not.
Until you piss them off.
Mr. Miles says, I'm tagging you to respond to Scott. The U.S. Navy also explorers meant to defend the U.S. and only attacks during times of war, just like Starfleet. And yes, so Star Trek is based off of the Navy.
It's based off the U.S. military. We won't attack you unless you attack us.
Yep.
Or our friends. Or you do something that we really don't like. Or we just have a lot of money and we need to spend it somewhere.
Well, that last one is less like what Starfleet is supposed to be.
Like Kevin.
Mute time.
Yeah, I was muting because my daughter was asking something. Yeah, exactly. I think that's actually why the Prime Directive was created, because I think I read somewhere that I need to find the corroboration of this, that it was because of the events in Vietnam that they came up with the Prime Directive in terms of seeing the harmful effects that interfering in events that are not directly related to the protection of our country can have detrimental effects to that country. And so we don't always follow the Prime Directive ourselves in real life.
No, we don't.
Dalek says Q is an all-knowing, all-powerful, immortal being. Why should he care about interference?
Well, he causes a lot of problems too.
He does cause a lot of problems. I think that the Continuum must have a rule about not messing around with mortals, but It would be neat if they would have elaborated on it.
It seems like over time, Q's continuum rules changed. So maybe they have rules now, but not so much when Q was younger.
Yeah, I think that's probably true, depending on how they've evolved. Hello to McPhoenix. McPhoenix is here.
Howdy, howdy.
Oh, Mr. Miles says he got Miri mixed up with the children's show lead. Oh, Miri. Okay.
Easily done. Easily done.
They're both episodes with kids. Yeah.
Well,
again, that was a radio sent out calling for help, and they responded to that.
Yeah, they did.
Well,
So,
and the
there
children
you
shall
go.
lead. That was a Federation colony.
That was a Federation settlement for the to be on the planet, but then they found that being and screwed everything up.
The Grogu.
Yeah, Grogu. Be right back in a minute. Now,
Grogu.
now it's my turn for a break.
Gorgon.
That's the guy.
The Goo
Well,
sounds better.
Do you guys have a favorite? Oh, sorry. I should get back on the bridge. Do you guys have a favorite violation of the Prime Directive?
Ooh, violating episode.
Like a clear violation. I would love the chat to speak up. Like, when do you think that there has been a violation of the Prime Directive? And more importantly, when do you think it was like, hell yeah, let's violate that?
I don't know about violating, but this one is clear in my mind because we just reviewed it recently. I think for The World is Hollow and I've Touched the Sky talks about it. In terms of letting the people on the ship know that they're on a ship because they've forgotten. So at which point is it interfering with them to change their...
Well, and I think it's more applicable than, say, Landru, where there has been a computer that took over the dictates of the creators, where they are aware of interstellar. Oh, puppers!
It's puppy time, apparently.
I'm glad it doesn't have a horn and attacks you.
She doesn't like to be on the camera that much.
Yeah, but she's
Get out of here.
pretty.
You're a star, girl. Come on. All those videos you make. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
She's shy.
But like the Onadin, Yonadins, like they're aware of interstellar travel based on the society that built the ship. So they know that interstellar travel is possible, or at least they hope. It's an arc sent out into the galaxy. And so I don't know if the passengers on, like, the species is passengers on an interstellar voyage. They are not aware of the fact that they're on a voyage, but the people who made the spaceship knew. So that's how they did it. And so just because the passengers on that multi-generational ship, like, that doesn't... I don't think the Prime Directive applies to for The World is Hollow. I think that there's a
you know what?
cultural
You're right. I agree
sensitivity.
with you now. After thinking about it, it does not apply because they just kind of forgot.
Well, they're restricted by the Oracle.
Yeah. And the Oracle, it has stagnated them into...
Protected them, I would say.
being pets.
Well, no, they're supposed to, like, the Oracle is there to ensure the safety of Yonata.
Yeah, but does it
And
really achieve that? All it is making them ignorant of the reality.
no, but it has informed them of the prophecy. The information is there, but the theology of or the doctrine of Yonata and the Oracle have made it so you can't find out more about it until you show up at where you're supposed to be. And the problem with For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky, and when I say problem, I mean the speed bump, the difficulty of the narrative is that one of the navigation transistors has blown or fused or something, so the navigation is off. It was gonna bust into a planet that they had no intention of getting to,
Right.
and so they just had to put it back on course, and it's gonna take 329 days.
And that's the whole problem. That's why that's why I think the computer became a dictator, is because of that malfunction.
Dude.
Okay.
That seems to be the same thing with Strange New Worlds as well. They had a similar incident, but with a species watching the asteroid to protect them.
I gotta be fair. I've only seen like 3 episodes of Strange New Worlds.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched 1 season and then I was done.
I saw
it in that season?
I seen both seasons.
Oh wow. I watched the first episode. I watched the one where Kirk and Leon Noonien Singh go to Toronto. And then I watched the musical episode just because I heard it was terrible and I love schlock.
God, I didn't finish it. I left that episode as soon as Spock started singing about his broken heart. I just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, let's be fair. I didn't watch the episode. I just downloaded the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is pretty good. I like it.
As long as it wasn't in Star Trek, it would be great.
Oh, geez.
It is the Hamilton of Star Trek.
I didn't see any problem with them singing on the ship because they told the story while they sung.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where a lot of people misinterpret that one.
Well, if they, and sorry to take a divergence over to the filth, but I've done it once, so why not twice? The whole problem, I think, in that is that if they were being accurate to canon, to the storytelling, and something that would have made the fans happy, is that the Klingons should have been belting out Klingon opera.
Yeah, that was funny.
That would have made more sense.
I don't know what they're saying, but they're very happy about it.
Uh-huh. In a Prime Directive does not apply.
Yeah.
I would have also accepted heavy rock and roll.
What little Klingon AC/DC?
Mm-hmm.
Highway.
Oh, Scotty would think of that. That was funny as heck. When's the last time you seen a Klingon sing? Except for Worf.
Yeah, well, except for Worf. Can't say I don't know. Oh, what is it? What's the 2-part episode with the Klingon Civil War where
well, they was in the Great Hall singing while they was drinking blood wine.
Are you talking about the one where Worf puts down his badge and says, I quit?
Yeah,
yep,
the 2-part.
Puts down and goes with his brother to be on his brother's ship. Yep, you're
What's
correct.
It called?
Shit, I don't know.
2-part episode.
Yeah. Next Gen.
Wait, sorry, Birthright?
No, the 2-part, like after, I think it's season 4 to 5.
Redemption?
That's it. Redemption 1 and 2.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love when Worf is with his brother on, it's always good to see Worf in a leadership role.
Oh, come on, guys.
Oh no, a Targ. No, but next generation, Worf and Kern are great. If you watch Worf and Kern in Deep Space Nine, prepare to cry.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's terrible. I hate what
Mm.
happens there. That is, he doesn't die, but he does die.
Well, speaking of
Talking
redemption,
about questionable medical ethics. What?
Agreed. Very questionable medical ethics in that.
yes. But come on, Barial got a positronic brain and he turned into a droid.
I didn't like that either.
Well, I did because it
He
got rid
didn't
of
want to be
Barial.
complete. Oh yeah, okay. I guess you're right. It is good that he was gone, but
In
it
terms of
wasn't
the
good
story.
what Julian did in order to make that happen. Like, yeah, I'll go ahead, give you this deadly drug just because you're saying, yeah, you want it.
But speaking of redemption, because we do have an appearance by Sela, the daughter of Tasha and some Romulan senator. Like, how do you guys feel about? I'm sorry.
Was it the daughter of consenting adults?
Of course. Well, come
Totally
on.
consenting adults.
Tasha's a manipulative individual. She would take advantage of the situation as long as it
It's
worked.
possible.
I don't. And again, I am sure that it was consenting adults, because if Tasha wanted to fight off that Romulan senator, oh, you better believe she would have. But
Yep.
how do you guys feel about the temporal
Goodness.
Prime Directive?
Mr. Miles says there's also the temporal Prime Directive in terms
Hey,
of the past. Gavin says McCoy going back in time and allowing Germany to win the Second World War was a breaking of the Prime Directive. So there,
yeah, but he was hepped up on
he didn't know what he was doing. Yeah,
Cordrazine.
He didn't interfere at all.
Yeah, he did. He saved Edith Keeler, and that's Lee made it so that
Edith died.
no,
He tried to.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the initial jump back when McCoy was hepped up on Cordrazine, he jumps through the Guardian of Forever, and he saves Edith Keeler, which initiates the pacification of the United States during the Second World War, which promotes the development of the V2 rockets and heavy water and the nuclear bomb, and then Germany ends up winning the Second World War. So her ideas were a detriment, and temporally, McCoy did the right thing at the wrong time, or as Spock says about Edith, the right thing at the wrong time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'd have to look it up. I've never seen the City on the Edge of Your Mama.
I have. And I seen the part where if Keeler, if she lives, that's what's going to happen. But as Spock says, she has to die, so that would not happen.
Well, that's why,
That's why they were there.
Right.
That's why Kirk and Spock had to come, because McCoy was there already.
Right.
And had McCoy been there alone, she would have lived.
Right. That makes sense.
She did live once. And that was the whole point of the timeline changing when McCoy went in and they were on the planet. And Uhura's like, I can't get any Starfleet signals. There's no Starfleet satellites anymore.
Yep. Ship's gone. Yep.
Yeah. So that's why that's why Kirk went back with Spock to try and fix everything.
Yeah, because they were stuck in the timeline where where Starfleet wasn't going to exist because of Edith living. But I like the argument that she didn't have to die. She could have gone on some adventures. She could have gone back to the ship and gone off into the future.
I could have just knocked her out, messed her up a bit.
Yeah.
She would have become all angry. So
yes, let's jade Edith Keeler.
Exactly.
Let's mess her brain up.
You know what?
mean-
Ian?
He's like, you know what?
People are jerks. You're gonna have to move
Experiment on the lady.
We need to fight more wars.
Well,
Yeah.
that's another option. They did have that device from Dagger of the Mind they could have used.
Well, and I bring up the temporal prime directive for two reasons, and both of them are Cisco. So we get the Gabriel Bell episodes.
Yeah, that was
What are they?
interesting.
What is that called? What are those called?
Past tense.
Past tense, part 1 and 2.
Yep.
And there is such an effort made by Cisco to maintain the timeline in some semblance, whether it be under the guise of chaos, but he does maintain the future while preserving the past.
Right. Bell does die, but Cisco takes his spot, like
Yes.
keep his name going.
I think that there is a moment at the end of Past Tense Part 2 where he's like, well, this is going to be a hell of a thing to explain to Starfleet today.
Yep.
But then also the other one being Trials and Tribulations, where they absolutely do their best to not interfere. And again, the Prime Directive, and the reason I bring this up here is because the Prime Directive is a dictate of non-interference.
Right.
So it is related. I do see where you're going with this.
Thank you. I'm curious what you guys think about.
And plus, I
about
think you
those.
just wanted to mention Trials and Tribulations, which I'm also okay with.
Well, thank heavens I didn't bring up Take Me Out to the Holosuite, because that's my second favorite.
Now,
That episode is just about Vulcan racism.
yeah, I mean, it's a starship that's all Vulcans. How is
Like
that
the Intrepid.
insulting?
Like the Intrepid.
Yep. Intrepid was manned by all Vulcans.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you can't get mad at a Vulcan Federation starship.
I don't know. It's just
You can't.
strange.
It's
It's
totally
different
illogical.
times. Exactly, it is. I
don't know.
agree. It is kind of illogical because it's supposed to. There's Vulcans. How are they upholding IDIC when their Starfleet vessel is just all them?
Because they
Well,
are a part
we
of something
have-
bigger.
We have plenty of starships that are almost all human.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
why
true
not
too.
have any that are mostly other races?
Mostly, I
breed.
would have bought, but it seemed like it was all Vulcans.
Well,
As it Boer said in Star Trek VI, the Federation is a Homo sapiens only club. And as McCoy says, that's not true. No.
No,
but it is true that, humans smell compared to Vulcans. So
oh,
It's
that's
not-
true. Okay,
it's
so
not
these are all
illogical.
Vulcans who are just like we don't like those stinky humans. So I guess it's still about racism then.
it's not
Yeah.
racist if it's true.
Yeah.
I guess it is.
Like the positive influence of another species on the Federation is a positive influence. It's part of the reason why the Federation is the Federation. There is no such thing as cultural appropriation. It's cultural integration. It's a
I'm
matter
sure the
of
That's what it
Vulcan
should be about.
would
that's what it is.
certainly acknowledge at that point that humans have made positive.
well, and
It would help if I don't shut off my microphone as I talk.
Yeah, I was wondering
Yes.
what I was wondering if I missed something important in that sentence.
Yeah.
I see.
What?
You
Huh?
told me.
I want to
thought
say
you
hello
said-
to James Caserta,
I was
and
thinking-
Wes Cagle
Hello.
says, "Hope you all had a happy New Year celebration."
Sure did.
Yeah,
yeah.
I did too.
Unexpected but delightful.
Just hope 24 is a lot better than 23. So far, it
Yeah.
is.
Well, it's early yet.
You know, if I don't buy a dog, it won't die.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
I got 3 of them.
First.
I'm sorry? I didn't buy it. It's true. I was bestowed. And I don't believe in the purchase and trade of live beings until I, demand it. Demand it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure another one will fall in your lap one day.
I hope so.
Time's arrow brought Mark Twain into the future. F the temporal prime directive. Yeah, right.
That's a good point.
I like that episode so much.
I do too. But the thing is, you're absolutely correct. But there is something about Mark Twain being brought to the future, and that I don't know. There's a wisdom bestowed upon Mark Twain. There's a certain level of philosophical reverence given to Mark Twain. If he sees things from the future and he decides to put them down on paper, although at that point with Time's Arrow, he had already written.
He wrote a time travel. He wrote a time
he'd already
travel
done it.
book.
And so I don't know. I like that episode. I think Time's Arrow 1 and 2 is comparable to Star Trek 4.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I think that Time's Arrow is the correlative to Star Trek 4 in Next Generation.
It does a great job of having a time travel story that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The intellectual puppets of the Federation. Says
James
Caserta. Hello to James Caserta.
Hey, Jim.
Howdy.
Yeah, the intellectual puppets of this Federation. John Shuck, hell of a Klingon.
Yep, he sure was.
Susan Dolan says, I was going to mention Deep Space Nine, the Tribble episode. They went back in time to stop the surgically altered Klingon from blowing up the station. Sisko turned out to be a Kirk fanboy.
Which is great.
Yes.
But, and Susan, I just want to say, when it comes to the captains that were subsequent to Kirk, the most earnest adoration of Jim T, I think Sisko was the one who he was like, oh my God. Like, Picard was in awe, and Janeway sort of showed her reservations towards, but I do enjoy how Sisko revered Kirk like a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
That was wonderful.
Favorite. I thought it was.
I'm sorry, I have to get going again. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. You're always welcome here. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Take care, Bird.
Enjoy. I'll be listening.
Have a good Tuesday.
Cheers, sir. I adore talking Star Trek with Bird of Prey 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go over to his channel. He does stuff throughout the week. He's an amazing man, and I'll stop gushing.
No, you should. I'm so glad you did, because if you didn't, I would say that tomorrow, make sure to check out his channel. I'm sure that he's going to have a Enterprise watch party. Well, I don't know if he's going to, but usually on Wednesdays, that's what he does. And on Friday, he'll have another bed life, which are fantastic.
You know what? It's funny, and I'm just gonna keep tooting his horn for a second. Is that you and I had been doing reviews for a while, and Pop Culture Curator was like, the only Star Trek reviewer I trust is Bird of Prey 5, and I was kind of ticked, and I was like, come on, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Pop Culture.
Me and Jill review Star Trek all the time, and you're like, no, you don't know nothing. But now,
yeah, which is funny that he said that, because he reviews it with us too. So
yeah, it's funny. It's funny. But and the thing is that I revere, like, I have an affection for Star Trek that goes outside of the 735, and it does extend to the filth. And I'm not saying that as a derivative. I'm saying that as at least an acknowledgement of different information. And I think that Bird of Prey, and I could be wrong, he's gone now, but like, I appreciate that there is a level of open-mindedness to everything Star Trek, as opposed to I don't know, the rigidity of the Prime Directive.
Well, Bird of Prey 5 definitely will give it a chance just because it has the label of Star Trek. Even if it's Star Trek in name only, he's going to watch it.
And I appreciate that, and I subscribe to his philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Bird of Prey 5 says probably not Enterprise this week, but hopefully Bed Life on Friday.
Delightful.
All right, I hope for Bed Life on Friday. Oh, and yeah, Pop Culture was speaking about New Trek. Yes, and well, that's what was funny about it was that Scotty and I were doing a Star Trek Picard review series also at the same time. And I understand you have to pick and choose what you watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
And my respect for your knowledge, I think is public.
See,
I think it's fairly public. So I love you, Pop Culture Curator, and I enjoy having conversations
in
with
my
you, sir.
list here to see if I got anything. It says prototype is one. What is oh, that's a Voyager. When did they? How did they deal with the Prime Directive?
That's a positronic.
Oh, hold on just a second.
Oh, take your time. So other provisos would be taking actions which supported one faction within a society.
Hello? Are you there?
Over another. Yes.
Hello? Is anyone?
Hello. I can hear you.
No way home.
But we have Patterns of Force, Omega Glory, and Too Short a Season from Star Trek The Next Generation. Although Too Short a Season, I don't feel that I thought that was a Federation colony. I didn't think that it was an alien species. Karnak and his war. Maybe it was. I'd have to going through.
Hello? Oh, is it? Can you hear me, Franco Walker? You can hear me?
We hear you.
I thought maybe my computer died because I'm not getting any feedback.
No, I can hear you.
Well, the thing is, I guess I should say hi.
To McPhoenix.
Oh, no, wait. I thought there was someone new. Never mind. Okay, great.
Is,
I'm glad
McPhoenix.
I'm not. I thought I lost my internet and that nobody could hear me. I like when Bird says, I'll be listening as he left. Sounded more like a warning. And Wes Cagle says, blasphemy. Don't mention Insane Way in the same conversation as James Kirk.
Part of the same organization.
And so I guess what that means is that both of my co-hosts have taken their stepped away for a moment.
I'm here.
We'll see if I wait a minute.
I'm here.
I'm here,
but I can't hear him.
No, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, see, I can see your little.
You can see my
but I can't hear you. Can anyone hear Scotty?
Everyone can hear me except for you.
Everyone hears Scotty. Everyone hears me, and everyone hears you.
Yeah, you just can't hear us.
You might want to reboot that computer. Reboot computer.
Hold on a minute.
Okay. I do want to say thank you so much, Wes Cagle, becoming a member of Anti-Derivative Jill's channel for the next 2 months.
There you go.
You are a gentle person and a scholar. I'm going to leave that highlighted so that Jill can read it again, because no one is here to hear me read. Jim, you want to read anything? No one's here for that.
Oh, we can hear you, Scotty.
All right. Nemesis Enforcer is Nemesis of Eden is here.
Nemesis.
Hope all you beautiful beings are doing well today. I'm
so
doing
far.
all right. James Caserta says, leave it to Scotty to bring Violated into the conversation.
Really?
Okay, now I can hear you. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either.
But I wanted to mention an episode in which the Prime Directive is sort of mentioned, but in reversed. It's like the other side of the Prime Directive. It's a Voyager episode where it's a planet that has this device that could transport them 40 light years. And it's kind of crazy that they have that, but it's called Prime Factors.
Yes. What's the name of the species?
The name of the species. Let's see. I don't know. Let me see if it's here.
Oh,
The only reason I ask, and I know it'll make you angry, is it is referenced in an episode of Picard. Though that species was assimilated by the Borg.
Angry. You're right. Oh, it was?
Yeah. And so when Picard...
Well, no, it wasn't, because it was in Picard, so it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, well, indulge me. And so when Picard and Soji go to Nepenthe, Hugh specifically references that transporter technology was acquired by the Borg through their assimilation, which means that after Janeway et al. Run away without getting the technology, because they wanted the technology, but they didn't get it. Obviously, the show lasted.
Right. Well, no, they did get it, but it kind of just messed everything up.
Well, yeah, kind of like
didn't
me.
really work. Yeah, it fails. The technology fails. It's not compatible with Federation technology.
Kind of like me. Nope.
But I don't know what their species is.
I don't know.
Sikaris?
The Krenians.
The planet name is Sikaris.
So the Sicarians.
Sure.
I'll look. I'll do it. Punch into Google. Picard season.
No,
3.
what? Don't do that.
What? They already have me. They're tracking me like nobody's business. He must be a fan. He has the.
We're tracking you now, Scotty.
Oh yeah, it is Sicarian. Yeah, you got it right. Hooray! Congratulations.
That's what you get. That's what you get for watching Picard and his scientific knowledge.
Well, I just wanted to talk about Voyager.
Oh, okay.
I think it's cool that it is kind of like a backwards kind of Prime Directive thing.
Yeah.
They're on the other side of it. Janeway is even mentions it, the irony that they're on the other side of the Prime Directive, which prevents the interference.
Oh, did you see?
Did I see?
2 months.
Oh, yes, I did see that. I did.
Thanks, Wes Cagle, for supporting the channel, yo.
Yeah, Wes Cagle's cool.
Wes Cagle is cool.
Let's see. Pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
I like free memberships.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get one? You got a free membership? That's pretty cool.
I got one here. Got one at Bird of Prey. Jedi Bill. And a place I don't even go to. I got that one. I got about 5 or 6 of them so far.
Well, and the thing is that the generosity of the people who provide those free memberships, like those are amazing, and I'm blessed.
Yes, thank you to the people who provide free memberships.
Mm-hmm.
Especially LDG.
LDG has been prolifically providing those free memberships. But a generous guy.
He gave you up to 50 to 60 free memberships so far?
Oh man, I haven't even counted yet, but yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those, 10 of them for Cardinal Sin, the giveaway.
Yeah.
So the profits for that went to his brother.
Nice.
And
it's good.
So that is good. I'm very happy that everybody came together for that.
Well, and don't forget that it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary support, but even liking, sharing, subscribing, make a comment after this. If you're on the re-rub, do the rerun thing and say, oh my God, I love this show, except for that Commodore Boone.
Yeah, that dumbass.
Yeah. I don't know who he thinks he is.
Hey, he's coming back, even with the Ajax.
But subscribe to Commodore Boone. I don't.
Oh no, I was just looking for another episode that mentioned. Well, yeah, definitely subscribe to Jim Landscapes.
Yeah, Don't say, oh no. Did William Shatner die?
Don't
Not
say
yet.
that.
No.
Don't say that unless it's true. I don't want it.
Well, I was
don't even wanna
asking.
think
I didn't
that.
say it. I asked it.
No, if you like Star Trek fan film productions and puppies, is usually
Yep.
how I pronounce.
What?
Fan film, puppies, reviews, lawnmowers, snow pond, whatever. It's all there.
But Jill, why did you say oh no?
Oh, did I say oh no?
You were like,
I
oh,
did.
No.
I did say oh no.
That's
Because
why I asked about.
Because I'm on the verge of wondering what other episodes mention the Prime Directive, and one of my least favorite episodes, and that I completely forgot because it's one of my least favorite.
Mhm.
I don't like it. The Masterpiece Society.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't count.
That's
it doesn't count.
That's not Prime Directive.
No, it's a human colony.
No, it's not. It's not. But it just came
It's
up
not
in
human?
my thoughts. Is it a human colony?
I
What?
thought it was human, but they were like, it's like a TOS. Like the Masterpiece Society is a
okay.
colony that was a human colony, and then because of where they landed, they developed a dome or whatever.
Okay, I just
And
remember eugenics.
yeah, they totally, and they flout the eugenics laws, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna do what we want to do, and they do, but they don't want interference. And then when investigated, they're like,
Guess what?
how about you get off my lawn?
Yeah, really. Get the hell out of here.
Eric
Yeah.
Carroll with the proper response: Shatner is immortal.
Yeah.
And also, that was the worst Eric Carroll impression that I could have done.
You don't see me saying that.
Yeah,
What,
and
you do the best Eric Carroll impression ever?
Nope.
Right.
I just think that there should have been more interference in that episode. That wasn't. Because that
there was
society
nothing to
sucked.
interfere with.
And I have a fan film that is at 1701, which is really interesting.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Mr. Miles says, for some bragging rights, my address is 1701. Without the street or city, it's safe enough to share.
There you go.
Nice. That's pretty cool. James Caserta's heart skipped a beat. Oh. He gets back on track.
He got excited.
Okay, good. So we don't have to talk about that one because it's not Prime Directive. I don't know why I thought of it.
Yeah, we're just playing. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to a bunch of people who like Star Trek. Oh no, we're talking about the wrong kind of Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, well, we do have a topic, so if I get it wrong,
I
we can
suppose.
skip around.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, my fan film Sorry Remastered is at 1701. That's the one.
Nice.
Yeah. I was shocked because I looked at the time and it was like 1701. Like, ain't that cool or what? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool. You sometimes fate.
Yep. And also, I also have another one that is 1708. So I don't know what ship that one is. I'm like, well, okay.
All right, I do have to excuse myself just one more time.
Okay.
Fiddle time.
And then I'll be back. But when I get back, I want you guys to tell me that I'm an idiot for thinking the Prime Directive applies to V'ger.
V'ger. No, of course it doesn't.
No.
That's a probe
machine
sent out from Earth, born from Earth, sent out into the universe. That is, if anybody's violating anything, it's the machine planet that adopted. Wait, you said to wait till you come back. I should wait till you come back.
Nah. Do it. Then when he comes back, well, we just got done talking about it. What?
Well, We'll pick it up from there when he gets back.
There you go.
James Caserta says, I must learn to embrace my bile bloody Klingon heritage and be proud. DJ Ronnie G says adopted. Yeah. I do like talking about the motion picture, so we'll see soon. And then we have Happy New Year. Yeah, everybody, Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year, Lemon Pie. Great to see you here.
Lemon, what's up?
Mm-hmm. I thought we were doing an episode. Sorry, Scotty. Oh, yeah, James Caserta just woke up, so.
That's what I thought, too.
He's a little bit disengaged, which is another episode I'm looking at. I'm just going through all my notes and looking to see anytime I mention the Prime Directive. And it says here that the bureaucracy of the Prime Directive was somehow going to kill Jack. And the idea is possibly given at how big he is.
Interesting.
What is this? What is this episode? Disengaged. Oh no! I'm talking about Star Trek Picard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you're talking about Jack. That's Picard.
I was like, who the hell is Jack?
Picard's son.
No. How did I? Okay, I'm sorry. Please disregard what I was saying.
I don't
trying to
know.
figure out what the hell.
You got off track.
I talked about the filth without Scotty. It's funny.
We're talking about so much stuff bouncing all over the Star Trek universe. It's hard to keep track, I guess.
Right, exactly.
Yep. Well, it's fun. I mean,
definitely
learning a lot.
For sure. Well, I think a lot of times we bring up the Prime Directive when it doesn't even apply. But I think one in which we think it applies. Well, we think the entire episode that that the Klingons are violating the Prime Directive, but it turns out, of course, we already know that it's a planet. It's a planet with godlike entities. So, and the episode I'm talking about is the first time we get to see the Klingons is the Errand of Mercy. And so it seems like the Klingons are manipulating this planet, and the Federation comes to do what they do to say it's not the Federation, but Captain Kirk, as a representative of it. And so that comes up in that episode. But of course, it's the Organians that end up interfering themselves. They don't want to. They don't like dealing with the mortals because we're messy.
Yep.
But they help out anyway.
And Lemon Pie says, "Where's Scotty?" Oh, he took either a smoky or a wee break.
Oh, I have no idea where he is. Or he's doing something important. Who knows? But since, of course, the Organians are not primitive, there's no Prime Directive violation. But you think there is before they reveal their hand. So it's fun. It's fun to see how this concept is played out and either dismissed or enforced or ignored, depending on what's going on. So wait, is Angel One have to do with the Prime Directive? Let's see.
Well, the Prime Directive states Scotty must return, according to Lemon.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Agreed. He will. Yeah, of course he's going to return.
In time.
No. Of course.
He always comes back. Sooner or later.
And if he doesn't,
we'll send the ships out I got to get him.
Yeah. But are we taking a shuttlecraft or are we just going there directly?
I will take the Defiant and find them. It's faster.
Oh, the Defiant. That's a good idea.
We got 2 of them there.
Oh no, I'll be right back. Can you talk for a minute? Some phone is going off.
Sure can. What's up, everybody? Commodore Productions here. Keep watching. You never know what's going to happen over on my channel. Yeah, the Prime Directive. I mean, it's kind of sticky. You know, it's a sticky, hairy mess. I mean, either you got to do it or you not got to do it. Pretty much deals with the captain. Of course, the captain can't figure it out. They'll call Starfleet Command and tell them the problem and try to iron it out. Sounds like a hairy situation, don't it?
This is your chance to grab the captain's chair and take off, says Keithy.
That's right. Yep.
Now's your chance. They're not here. Take over the show.
Yeah. Take over the ship. Take over the show. That's why I don't have a blue wrench, so I can't advertise.
Well, I advertised for you. I think it did.
I know. But I could put the links into the stuff I do every week.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There he is, I think.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh yeah.
Nakambatan. He's back.
I feel like celebrating.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, Riker, you're so stolid. That didn't happen before the beard.
I take the girls. Damn right.
I would not.
Oh, you sure you would?
No.
Yeah.
As mentioned on the New Year's Eve stream on Commodore's channel.
Yeah.
I asked, I think it was Matt who said I would give you the powers of the Q, and I was like, I don't think I deserve the powers of the Q, but if you could shoot me into the Nexus, I'd be a happy boy.
Yeah, you would. You stay there forever.
I would.
That's right.
Meaning there, the Predator has.
You do whatever you want in the Nexus. You go back in time, forward in time, whatever.
And even if you make it out, a piece of you will remain there.
Yes. Kirk still lives.
That's not you.
No, it's not. It's an echo of you.
Yes.
That's what Guinan says, yes. And she does have sort of, she's a listener. And she listens.
Yep, her species listens very well.
They don't tell a lot of people.
I don't need your fantasy women.
I do.
I don't. I don't. So, and I don't want to step on the chat, but like when it comes to the philosophy of the Prime Directive, do you feel that in the philosophy of Jonathan Archer being the first interstellar voyager explorer of Earth, do you feel that his example, his philosophy, we're not out here to play God? And I like that.
Right.
I like that sort of basic distillation of what humanity's purpose is in the galaxy. Are you here to play God? Are you here to explore? Are you here to conquer? And the Prime Directive, I think, explicitly prohibits conquering. There is no... The expansion of the Federation is done through negotiation and cooperation as opposed to conquering. And that's what makes the Klingons antagonists in the original series. But like, do you agree with the restrictions of we're not here to save everybody, and sometimes people are going to die?
Yep.
Well, in terms of Enterprise, that goes both ways in terms of how Archer deals with his adventures, but also how the Vulcans deal with him and how they're interfering in what he sees as the way that the Federation is developing.
Big shout out to DJ Play Nice, who says, "Gotta roll out. Thanks for hosting, Jill."
Oh yeah, DJ Play Nice. I'm so glad you're here.
Take care, DJ.
But it is a virtuous edict. Like, I don't think that it is a superiority situation when it comes to the Federation. I think that it is an example set by the Vulcans that say you shouldn't go messing around with other people.
Right. And they do say that a lot.
Yeah. I love Enterprise so much.
Well, okay, so James Caserta mentions another Enterprise episode called The Co-Janitor, and he says that that's a good episode about the Prime Directive.
Yes.
Is that?
Lemon is here. Lemon. The Co-Janitor, if I'm not mistaken, is that the one where Trip gets pregnant?
Yeah, he becomes really friendly with the engineer on a spaceship because they're getting help from that ship, and that's the first time someone sees a holodeck, right? Like it's their holodeck.
Yes, sees their holodeck. He puts his hands into these. Yeah,
castles.
but he didn't know that he was going to get knocked up. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's a long-standing tradition of Star Trek and rocks that have to do with sex.
Yeah.
Well, and when you look at that one Riker episode with the Ferengi, is it the Ferengi? No, I'm thinking of the Barzan wormhole. No, but there is something that happens with the Janai, and there is a genderless species, and Riker does not follow the Prime Directive at all because he falls in love with a genderless individual. I forget her name. Soren? I think it's Soren.
That the Co-Janitors is not where, just to correct, it's not where Trip gets pregnant. That's the one where they have an extra species to help reproduce, and that's all they do. They're not allowed, even though they're just as capable as the rest of them, they are treated as second-class citizens. And the issue is whether or not to interfere with the denied rights and the denied basic rights in education.
But doesn't Trip hook up with like one of the Co-Janitors?
Do they?
I think so.
They're friends.
Well, but and the entire, like, the sort of O. Henry of the end of the story is that good work, Trip. That non-gendered individual that you were hanging out with for a little while, they killed it. They killed it because it had fulfilled its purpose, or it was deviating.
Wait, didn't it kill itself?
Was it a
themselves?
self?
I think it's themselves. Whatever. Oh God.
It is a themselves.
I don't know if what pronouns they use in this episode.
Well, they're aliens. They are a different species, so I'm willing to accept the science fiction allegory to enjoy the thought process. That is one of the joys of Star Trek. That's one of the joys of figuring out. And also, let's not be children. Come on, suicide's an acceptable word. It's an acceptable word. And the room was filled.
It just happened
chill.
over there.
No, I just think I am a big fan of
What's in here?
language,
Mhm.
and I definitely want to be able to use language as an adult with other adults.
Right.
And so, if those words bother me or bother you, I will refrain from using slurs. But if I want to use something about a person who is killing themselves, I will say suicide. If you want to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
yeah, like I just want to be able
I'll
to
take
use
it back.
the
I'm
word.
trying to help my daughter with something, and
Well,
she's
I am as absolutely ridiculous as your daughter.
Can you remember we mixed up episodes? We mixed up our trip episodes. Can you help me? Which episode is this one that we were talking about at first?
Susan Dolan in the chat says the holodeck was introduced in that Enterprise episode. The
Mhm.
alien ship was hitching on the first Enterprise's engines and then a Klingon ship's engines
Right.
because they were having engine problems. Susan,
Right.
I don't mean to contradict, but I think the first time that the holodeck was ever introduced was at the rec deck in a animated series
Yeah,
episode.
you're right. It is first introduced in the animated series. I meant like timeline
Oh,
wise.
but Susan is also correct because chronologically,
Yes.
this is before. This is something that was like, come on, Trip would have seen the holodeck and then engineered something along those lines, or at least the theoretics of it, and then provided some situation. So no. I think Susan, you know what? Full points to Susan.
No,
200
Susan's
plot
right.
loos.
I mean, that is an Enterprise episode. That is the first time Trip has seen at holodeck, and he tells everybody on the Enterprise ship when he gets back over there, that they got grass growing over the walls and stuff. If she's talking about that one there, and
Yes.
they also
And-
give them the technology they gave the holodeck technology to the Klingons so they wouldn't hurt them, basically.
Edge of Time, Hail Edge of Time says, freedom of speech no longer exists, a consequence of cameras, social media, and control freaks. Well, shame.
And that's still where Trip puts his fingers in the little thingies and get knocked up by that girl. But
yeah.
Yep.
And let that be a lesson to the rest of you.
Don't put your hands where it don't belong.
Exactly. Don't finger bang an alien.
Exactly. That's what the Paul told him. Shouldn't put your hands there, dummy.
Hang on a second. We're on Jill's channel, so I should be better.
Yeah, you should be.
So sorry, I'm helping my daughter real quick. I gotta be right back.
Okay. As long as she's, are you doing the Heimlich maneuver is what I'm asking.
Now you're sounding like Spock. If you're gonna get nasty, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, really.
But I do enjoy this this conceit, this idea of the Prime Directive as a cornerstone. I think it's debatable. I think the Prime Directive is a debatable concept, but it's
very
so
debatable.
intriguing. It is, but that's part of, instead of being told what to think, it is a concept that is, you can think about it and ask yourself, were Picard, Sisko, Janeway, Kirk, Archer, were they correct in what they did? It's a moral dilemma. And it's interesting. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Lemon says, don't finger bang an alien. Scotty's version of the Prime Directive.
Oh, come on. It's been 2.5 hours.
Damn it, Lemon.
I'm allowed to. If my dirty words are dirty.
I like that one.
I wish I could apologize, but I won't.
It's all right. It's funny.
And Edge of Time says, language is an agreement. If we try to form a society around guesses and feelings, we might be in trouble. Absolutely agreed.
Yep.
Definitions of words are important.
Words can get you in trouble so damn fast. It's crazy.
Well, and some people say that language can be violence, and I
Yep.
disagree with that thought because I think that language, if I use shocking language, my intention is to shock you. If I use soothing language, my intention is to soothe you.
Yeah.
And from there, I don't think that I've done you harm nor foul. I just want you to understand my perspective. I'm not trying to attack. I'm trying to interact. And Lemon says, I didn't ask for an apology, Scotty. Well, then
Keep
F
going down.
you velour. Or no, not a velour, a verule.
Ooh.
That is a Romulan swear. How about a patach? You're not a patach.
Yeah, patach.
Susan Dolan in the chat says, I think that particular episode, it was natural that the female would transfer the embryo to the male of the species like seahorses. Yeah. The male seahorse is the one that gives birth to the young.
Chip was a male seahorse.
He was a male seahorse. He was hung like one, for sure.
And how do you know about that one?
Well, I don't even know how male seahorses are hung.
I don't either.
Yeah, none of those things were relevant. They just touched some rocks.
Yeah, that's all they done. And they glowed and felt good.
I thought the lesson was to wear condoms on our figures when we visit alien ships. Oh no!
Anywhere.
In that particular instance, all you had to do was wear rubber gloves.
Rubbers.
Oh, my stars and garters. My ladies and gentlemen, my lovelies of the
Eric,
Federation.
Well, hold on. Let's do this together.
Let's do it together.
Eric Carroll says the Prime Directive only allies to the natural development of alien life and nothing more. Only applies to the development. Okay. Yes, that's right. It's to protect non-Federation citizens. And I think we did a pretty good job talking about some of the episodes in which the Prime Directive is brought up. We by no means completed the discussion, so it's always fun when there's more to be talked about later. And hopefully we brought a bit more of an idea of what we think about it.
But that's something that is like, I think that there is an interpretation of the Prime Directive, and it depends on your interpretation of that edict that defines you as a Starfleet captain. Like if you are a captain of a starship, then you have passed the tests. But I think that they have to work a little harder on the psych tests. But when it comes to, well, exactly, there's my problem. That's what you get for thinking. But I think that, like, do I think Captain Tracy is a bad guy because he thought that he was mining a resource for the rest of the Federation? Well, the way he went about it was bad.
Yeah.
Do I think that John Gill was an awful human being for introducing 1930s Germans to the what do you call them? The Nazi planet.
Yeah, yes, I do think Gill was bad. Bad. Yes.
Well, he wasn't
Tracy wasn't bad.
He just didn't know what he was doing.
Tracy was well intentioned, but
John Gill, he just took from history the wrong people to show another people what to do, I guess. I mean, he took the wrong example from history.
How do you think teaching them about fascism was going to not turn into exactly what it turned out to in reality?
I know. He just took the wrong example from history.
I think that John
Bitcoin.
Gill taught
God.
them a singular objective, and unfortunately, that singular
Went the wrong way.
objective was something that I allowed for the elimination of anyone who got in the way of that singular objective.
Yeah.
And so I get it. I get why John Gill did it. I don't think he did it for a bad reason. I don't think that he was trying to teach everybody to be a fascist. I think he was saying if
That's
you
what he
have
did.
one goal, and yeah, I know, but that's because the Zionists or whatever were dumb.
Oh, so
Alrighty
you're blaming the civilization that's being
That's
interfered
right.
with now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you'll edit out. So yes, I think that John Gill was.
I don't know. I have
blaming
to
the
re-listen to the
Jews.
parts where I stepped away from the microphone.
Oh, I said things about cholera that would make your skin crawl.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have to take my leave, and I want to say goodbye, and I want to say thank you.
Okay, great. Yes, and I do have to end this live stream anyway, which is what I was trying to say.
There you
If you'd
go.
like to end it together, we're all done here, really. Scotty, yeah, and Gorilla says, I don't know about seahorses, but the male octopus will rip it off and throw it at the
Rip its
female.
dick off.
Oh.
Oh, Gorilla, you're
inseminate or
great.
something.
Oh.
What? I'll rip your dick off.
Damn, that hurt.
Okay.
I didn't
Thank you,
even read the
Gorilla.
whole thing. I just got to
Oh
the
my
dick
God.
ripping.
Well, if you want to learn more about octopi, please go back and read that chat from Gorilla.
The live chat
I
will
just
be
realized
available on
nearly
the
3
rerun.
hours of Prime Directive talk, and no one has mentioned the Picard. Yeah, well, I didn't want to.
Next
I
time.
didn't want to. Mr. Miles. But thank you
Didn't
so much,
mention
everybody,
the
for being here.
Picard?
Thank you.
We did
I
mention
like
the
that.
Picard.
We did, but
talked
we
about the
didn't
Mentalkins.
really.
We
Yeah.
talked about the Mentalkins and the Edo. I think
It's
we
time to go
mentioned the
play.
Picard.
Hey, no, this is what you're thinking. Edge of Time says it's time to go play in the Fallout. Gotta glow. And so isn't that what you're gonna do? I don't know if that's what you're gonna do, but
No.
we do
I've
have
heard-
to go. And
I probably
next
will.
Tuesday.
I probably will play Fallout. Thank you. You know what? There was a sale on New Year's Eve, and I got Fallout New Vegas for $3.60, and I was so happy. And so yeah, no, I'm happiness pie over here.
There you go.
That's a great deal, and I'm glad it worked, because sometimes software, if you get it that cheap, it doesn't work. So I'm so glad
it's only crashed once.
Nice.
And it's a Bethesda game, so that's a joy.
Yeah, that's a benefit. Just edit Scotty out, says James Caserta. Only sometimes. I didn't hear anything today. That was too bad.
He said delete them out.
I said suicide. I said Nazi.
So next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the Star Trek: The Original Series episode, Day of the Dove, and I can't wait. We're gonna have some fun, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Booger 414 got here just for the end. Keith says cut and print, and Kronos is here. He changed his avatar. He says I'm late to the party.
I got to see your new avatar, Kronos.
Hopefully you would invite me back. I had a good time here. Thank you very much for the invite.
For sure. If you want to watch Day of the Dove, but you do have a thing where, well, I don't know if it's you or Scotty, but I do every once in a while. There's a slight echo that comes up that I don't like, but we'll see.
My echo cancellation's on.
Okay, great. It just happens every once in a while, so it's not that annoying.
Yeah, Scotty's fault.
You're old and you don't know what you're doing, you damn boomer.
Enjoy your 2024, everyone. Yeah, I do hope everybody enjoys their 2024. And so it's early on in the year. I hope everybody's year is going well so far. So I'll talk to you later. I'll leave you off with the preview for Day of the Dove.
We're not going to do promotions. We're not going to do plugs.
Oh yeah, Oceans promotions. Yes, that's a good idea. Jim first.
Just keep watching Commodore Productions. I have a lot of stuff in the can. Just got to dig it out and get stuff done. Basically, that's about it. Easy peasy.
And then, oh, how do I get me big? Wait, that's a problem for me.
Oh, Scotty.
There it is. And also head over to the Phantasmagorium show where me and my friend Kat are talking about season 5 of Fargo. And as always, subscribe to Cinema Gulp. He did a vinyl soundtracks video. So if you are into music, if you like music, you should subscribe to Cinema Gulp. And as always, I am ever.
Did you watch it? It was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I like music. And so, yeah, I appreciate it. And then, as always, subscribe to Antiderivative Jill. Check out Jim. You want to go to Sci-Fi Nation? There's a pub crawl. You want to see that there Captain Infinity, whatever he's calling himself these days. There, what a weirdo Batman that is. But everyone who's involved, and I have appreciated the ability to play, and I'm looking forward to playing with you in this particular Stardate. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Eric Carroll says, is there going to be another giveaway for Cardinal Sin? Yeah, there is going to be another one for Gil Bavell is Cardinal Sin's brother, Ari. And there's going to be another one. I think it might be on Comic Relief Crusaders channel next time. But details on that one are still underway. And when I know more, I will let you guys know. So there's still more things that Ari wants to share from Gil's collection. And so, yes, that is going to happen, and I'll let you know. But for now, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and I'll see you.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Take care, everybody.
You are now prisoners of the Klingon Empire against which you have committed a wanton act of war. Take off, sir!
Maintain your post!
Don't try to stop me, Captain.
If the alien is creating these events, Captain, it is apparently capable of manipulating matter and mind. This one appears to be strengthened by violent intentions.
It exists on the hate of others.
You don't die yet.
I now control this ship's power and life support systems. You will die of suffocation in the icy cold of space.
I don't want any more cracks about the book. Did they leave any...
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
Learn all that is learnable.
You are great. I am great.